may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Detective Ramos.
Good morning, ma'am.
As we left off yesterday, we spoke about the cell phone evidence that you had collected from several different sources. Do you recall those sources?
Yes.
And did that include social media sites and the cell phone information for the defendants in this case?
Correct.
Did that also include the cell phone information and the cell phone extraction from co-defendant Alicia Andrews?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to thoroughly analyze that extraction as well?
Yes.
Lastly, was there a physical device extraction instead of an iCloud return from one of the devices belonging to defendant Rashad Murphy?
Yes, there was.
And what is the difference between that and the iCloud returns that we were looking at yesterday?
So a physical device extraction, again, is when you have the actual physical device that you would plug up into software to be able to extract the data out of that physical device, as opposed to an iCloud dump. You don't have a physical device. You have to get that data that's remotely stored with Apple.
Were you able to obtain a copy of the physical device extraction for the device belonging to Mr. Rashad Murphy for the time frame?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, the state seeks to admit states 76A through B and the remainder of states 101.
Okay, any objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
No new objections, Your Honor.
Okay, any new objections, Mr. Sonardi?
No new objections.
Mr. Wise, any new objections?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Petridis, any new objections? Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And sir, throughout the course of your investigation, I believe you told us what the relevant dates of inquiry were for those electronic devices. Did you apply those same dates towards your review of the additional evidence that you obtained in the case?
Yes.
Specifically as it relates to the evidence that you collected during the time frame of the murder, what were the dates that you were looking at for electronic evidence? So video surveillance or license plate readers?
Specifically for the murder was June 22nd and June 23rd.
Did you also narrow your time frames in what you were looking at on the devices for that time frame as well?
Yes.
But on the devices themselves, did you open that time frame to the entire time of the conspiracy that you've discussed with us thus far?
Correct. We went back all the way to June 1st.
After your review of the cell phone evidence in this case, was there relevant evidence that was obtained when you reviewed the Instagram content for Gutta Zay?
Yes.
And on what date did that relevant evidence that you retrieved become important to your investigation?
We started seeing some relevant posts from Mr. Chance's Instagram account on June 6th.
Did you work with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to understand the relevance of that information?
Yes.
Were there some items of evidence on the returns, both from this account and the social media accounts that you obtained, that you were able to determine their importance on your own as well?
Yes, correct.
In publishing states 87C1, is this one of the exhibits or items that was retrieved from the Instagram account of Gutta?
Correct.
And what was the importance of you documenting this post?
So on June 6th, Isaiah Chance's Instagram account starts posting several posts that we found relevant. This is the beginning. It was posted at 3:40 p.m. and specifically there was a caption at the bottom of it, and then the picture of Mr. Chance and another gentleman doing signs with that lead gentleman doing the bully down sign, and then the caption at the bottom.
Were you able to speak with law enforcement in Jacksonville throughout your investigation to determine the signs that you were looking for, or
Yeah.
the gang signs from each of the different gangs involved?
Yes.
And is that why this image specifically was of relevance?
Correct.
When you looked to the caption of the image itself, did you share that information with Jacksonville detectives?
Yes.
And Bully K, when you read that information, were you able to understand whether that was relevant or not to your investigation?
Correct.
Was there a specific gang affiliated with the victim's gang of 6 Block called Bully Gang?
Correct.
On June 7th, or really June 6th, in the evening, did you also obtain additional posts that were made to the account of Isaiah Chance?
Yes.
And would you please read for us those posts from 9:23 and 9:26?
Yeah, starting with the one at 9:23, it's a black screen with the words in a white background there. It reads, I'm what boy? And then the account tags another account to a gentleman with the nickname of Heem. LOL, you merching on Hootilly, every single last N-word and bitch over there in NHG and ATK are gonna need God playing with me, especially with those allegations. Call my bluff. And then moving on to 9/26, another post from the same account. I be quiet. I don't be saying shit because I know what's going on and who's faking and who's not, who really contributed to the war and who didn't. Man gone. I can count on one hand who fucking sliding and done killed shit and who didn't. Boy, what the fuck? I'm talking about confirmed kills, bitch. Let's be for real.
Based on your investigation, your communications with law enforcement in Jacksonville, were you able to determine who Tilly was?
Yes, Antonio Tilly, correct.
And was Mr. Tilly someone that was alive or deceased at the time of your review of this information?
Deceased.
When did that individual die?
October 6, 2023.
And was that the was that the murder offense which occurred in the hours before Charles Jones's attempted murder?
Correct.
To your knowledge, at this time or at the time of this post, was Isaiah Chance associated or affiliated to NHG or ATK?
To my knowledge, he was having a falling out with NHG and ATK.
Moving to 87C4 through 5. Minutes thereafter, were there additional posts to the Instagram account or the story of Isaiah Chance?
Correct.
And at 9:33, what was the post provided?
At 9:33, Mr. Chance's Instagram account posted, "Heem, you never did shit about Tilly. Green ass, purple ass, N-word, light skin, fuck you, couldn't even go get them ones who was sliding a location. N-word, don't do shit but run your fucking mouth all day like a AH bitch. Y'all believe them fake ass rumors if you want. To that one man, let y'all green ass N-words claim his work. He ain't even want to claim shit. It was only about 3 people around that bitch sliding. I'm done, you sissy. Tell him how you and that same boy, yeah, the one you had allegations with laid up in a bed at the spot with nobody there. LOL. Boy, I tell you, all you,
Objection, Your Honor. I would object to narration of what the jury can see on the screen.
Overruled. He can read it into the record.
Man, I'll spill it all. Motherfuckers better go sit down, roll over, and play sleep.
When you had an opportunity to see the posts that were created or the story that was posted at 8:38 p.m. After that individual post, was there a screenshot of some kind posted to Mr. Chance's story?
Yes, it appeared Instagram was flagging Mr. Chance's posts, so he posted at 9:38 p.m. a screenshot and then says, "Go on my Twitter, Instagram, keep deleting my shit."
After this post, is there one additional post that's actually created to the Instagram account before you change over to Twitter?
Correct.
And is that at 9:46?
Correct.
In 87C6, what was the additional post by Mr. Chance?
Before he switches over to Twitter, the last post on Instagram was, "I'm done saving you N-words. I tried. Who else next? Anybody come out of the shadows."
Then by the time you had received these returns from Instagram, had you already been updated by detectives in Jacksonville and provided with a Twitter Spaces conversation?
Yes, correct.
Who was that conversation between?
That conversation on Twitter Spaces was between Isaiah Chance and the victim, Charles Jones.
And did the content of that, or were you able to hear the content of that conversation?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's previously been admitted as 121. Was there a title to that Twitter Spaces conversation that was happening between Mr. Jones and Mr. Chance?
Yeah, it appears whoever started this specific Twitter Spaces conversation titled it at the top right there, "Shitty Dick NHG."
And referring to NHG, were you able to determine whether that was the same NHG related to the ATK gang from Jacksonville?
Correct.
Then on that same date of June 6th, after you're having retrieved that Twitter Spaces conversation, let me just go back to that if I can, were you able to ascertain the approximate time that the Twitter Spaces conversation had occurred?
Yes, from Christopher Drabeck's screen recording, you can see the top in the top left of the screen recording, the time was approximately 10:36 p.m. on June 6th.
Were you able to go through the cell phone information of Mr. Sean Gathright once you obtained the iCloud return from his account?
Yes, correct. So the screen we're looking at now is directly from defendant Sean Gathwright's iCloud backup.
On 94, C5, were you able to ascertain whether there was a contact saved to Sean Gathwright's account with the associated number of 0925 ending?
Yes.
And throughout your review of the cell phone returns, who was the 0925 device attributed to?
Defendant Rashad Murphy.
What was the account name that the device was storing this number as?
Ghost.
And were you able to ascertain who was on which side of the conversation based upon the ghost number being saved in this device?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
In looking at the content of the conversation between these two at 11:18 p.m., were you able to ascertain speaker and responder in a text chat?
Yes, ma'am, correct.
And are the person who is sending the text and the person who is receiving the text depicted in two different colors?
Correct.
I am showing you 94C4. Is this a portion of the conversation retrieved from SeanGathright's device that was between Sean Gathright and Ghost?
Correct.
And could you please read to us the text message that was delivered on 6/6 at 11:18 p.m.?
Yes, so starting at the top there, this message in blue is coming from defendant Rashad Murphy's phone being delivered to defendant Sean Gathriight's phone, and it reads, "Make sure, bruh, in a good headspace before he go with his move. We got bigger shit to tend to. They ain't even worth an N-word's energy right now."
During the course of your review or listening to that Twitter X or Spaces conversation, was there chat about having bigger fish to fry?
Yes.
Do these text messages come in before or after that Twitter Spaces conversation?
After.
Could you please provide to us what was texted then at 11:20?
Yes, so Sean Gathriight's device liked the first text and then responded, "I ain't heard from bro today, but I'm going to check in with him."
Did Ghost respond?
Yes, he responds in the blue there. He probably not going to pick up on, he's on IG letting these N-words get him out of character. He turned up on that motherfucker right now.
Before the Twitter Spaces conversation, was Isaiah Chance posting the post that you read to us on Instagram?
Yes.
And at 11:22, or excuse me, 11:29?
Sean Gathriight's device responds to Rashad Murphy's device saying, "Damn, all right, let me see what's up."
In your review of the extraction from Rashad Murphy's device, did you also document some items that were relevant in your investigation, showing you 101B?
Yes.
What is being depicted here?
So from the device of Rashad Murphy's physical extraction, we located this profile picture on the left that was saved as an image on the device, and specifically that profile image was a profile pic to one of the victim's social media accounts.
Are you able to articulate how or why the image itself would have been saved? Meaning, do you have any data on this particular exhibit which says that it's because the profile was visited versus actually saving the photo to the phone?
No, not definitively.
Were you able to confirm the image itself against your comparison to the returns from the Charles Jones Instagram in 95E?
Yes.
Was the photo itself being utilized as the profile image on the Instagram account for Charles Jones?
Yes.
Did Isaiah Chance ultimately on June 11th post any photographs of relevance, 87C8?
Correct.
And why was this photograph relevant to your investigation?
Because in this image, the defendant Isaiah Chance appears to be flashing gang signs with his hands, and there's some weapons in there as well.
Did you provide this information to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Correct.
On that same date, was there an additional post?
Yes. Defendant Isaiah Chance's Instagram account posts a picture of Antonio Tilley.
And is this the individual that you previously testified was deceased on the evening before Charles Jones's attempted murder?
Correct.
Moving now to June 14th, were there several items of relevance from June 14th of 2024?
Yes.
Which accounts did those items come from?
Specifically the victim's Instagram account, Mr. Jones.
In 95C1, could you tell us what we're looking at?
Yes, so this is actually the very first time that we see that the victim's advertising that he's going to be in Tampa, specifically detailing the date and time and the actual address to the location that he's going to be performing at. It was one post, and you can tell by the dots there were actually multiple flyers for that same event.
Now, if I bring the mouse to the screen, are you able to see the mouse there?
Correct.
On the image on the right of your screen, when you say multiple dots, are you talking about under the image here?
Correct.
Did those images include depictions of someone who identified themselves as Robert Howard?
Correct.
So when you said the address was included, is it in the comment somewhere on the image?
Yes,
Were these flyers for the same event or different events in Tampa?
for the same event.
And did they include or indicate the time frames as well?
Correct.
Was there some reference to an Airbnb in the flyers that were posted by Julio Foolio?
I believe the party before, yes.
And had the flyers been posted in advance of Charles Jones and his entourage coming to Tampa?
Correct.
On the 14th, was there also a post by Mr. Chance to his account?
Yes.
Can you tell us what we're looking at on 87C10?
So this is a post from Isaiah Chance's Instagram account on June 14th at 7:46 p.m.
What did he articulate there, or what was included in the post?
It's some words here. It says, I don't clear up rumors. Believe what you want to believe. Just know what you're doing and who you fucking with. Do your homework on me before making allegations. I don't forgive and I don't forget.
Were there allegations against Isaiah Chance from the Spaces X conversation?
Specifically, there was allegations that he was a homosexual.
On June 15th, were there relevant Instagram returns for ghost187_?
Correct.
And is that an account that was attributed to Rashad Murphy?
Yes, correct.
With this account, was this the account that was confirmed by the Google Pay records?
Correct.
I'm showing you at 7:44 a.m. States Exhibit 88F1. Do you recognize that exhibit?
This should be PM, I believe, but 6:15, 11:44. Oh no, AM. You're right. Correct. My bad. So it's, yes, correct. This is from Rashad Murphy's Instagram account. He's actually searching for Isaiah Chance's Instagram account. As you can see there, selected is what you would input into a search box, and he puts in G Gutta Zay. So he's searching for Isaiah Chance's Instagram account at this time.
Was this search conducted after the Charles Jones flyers had been posted to Instagram?
Correct, yes.
What is it that we're seeing in 88E1 and 2 at 7:50 or 6 minutes later?
Correct. So what we see here is Rashad Murphy's Instagram account is actually liking the post the victim made with the flyers that he was going to be in Teasers. So we can see a liked post author, Julio Foolio, which is the victim, and then it puts the actual timestamp that Rashad Murphy's account likes that post.
And when you have the return records, which the actual physical papers or documents are in evidence, are you actually able to click on these links that say URL under the like timestamp post and go to the post itself?
Yeah, that's how we confirm the exact post that Rashad Murphy's liking.
Did the information from the Rashad Murphy device come from the physical extraction of this phone in 65A and B?
Yes.
And is this the condition that the device was in when you either received it or received the photographs of it initially?
Correct.
On June 18th of 2024, was there an image that was obtained from this device?
Yes.
And is that what's depicted here at 129?
Correct.
Were you able to identify the individual that was depicted on the driver's license in 101D?
Yes, that is defendant Davion Murphy.
And was this image on Mr. Rashad Murphy's device?
Correct.
At 4:44 a.m. on that same device, was there a still saved?
Yes, just like the victim's profile picture was saved in Rashad Murphy's phone, we also found Isaiah Chance's profile picture saved on Rashad Murphy's phone.
Can you again tell us whether that was, downloaded or because of a visit to the site?
Not definitively.
As it relates to photographs, so you see how this is a shape of a circle?
Correct.
When you see that and have the device path information, are you able to ascertain the difference between a profile picture or something like that that has been stored versus a photograph that's been saved or received?
Sometimes it gets a little complicated. So this could be being saved because you're interacting with the page and the phone's doing it automatically in the background. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're clicking on it and manually saving it. So the fact that it's a circle like the profile picture, it's likely that the pathway is an interaction with the social media account.
On the other hand, when there are messages that have a path that has a trail associated with it, are you able to determine where those came from and how they were either received or sent?
Correct. So there are indications in the pathway if images have been sent or received, and sometimes taken from the actual camera itself, things like that.
In 101 F through G on June 19th, was there or were there images that were received to this device?
Yes.
And is that what we're seeing here on the screen?
Correct.
What was the relevance of the image on the left?
So this is specifically it was a picture of a scene, and they captioned a Young and Ace song on it.
And was the image on the right-hand side, double G or 101G, was that sent or received at the same time?
Correct.
Did both of those images have the same time and date stamped down to the second?
Correct.
And does that also provide you, in addition to the pathway, information at all about whether it was something that was sent from the phone or received to the phone?
Sent or received, yeah.
On June 19th at 11:02 p.m., was there another image on Rashad Murphy's cell phone extraction?
Correct.
At 101H, is this the image that was documented on that device on June 19th at 11:02? On June 20th of 2024 at 7:16:25 p.m., were there some images that were also documented on Rashad Murphy's device?
Correct.
Were these two images time and date stamped to the second?
Yes.
What did that information provide for you as it relates to how the images had been received?
So again, it indicated that they were either sent or received, transmitted.
At the same time?
Correct.
When you viewed these images, did you have an opportunity to see the caption of 101I?
Yes.
And can you tell us what the caption of 101I included, please?
It reads Big Six and Little Six, just below a picture of the victim who goes by Six and another gentleman.
Did you have an opportunity throughout the course of your investigation to learn the victim went by Six?
Correct.
And did you have an opportunity to see the photographs of victim Charles Jones's vehicle throughout the course of your investigation?
Yes.
In 101J, did you see that image that came in with the little Six image?
Yeah, so this image on the right there from Rashad Murphy's phone appears to be a driveway, and at the rear of the driveway we can see a vehicle that it matches all the characteristics of the victim's vehicle, specifically the one he was killed in Tampa.
Is 101I that same image with two individuals that was retrieved with the driveway and vehicle image?
Correct.
Is 101J the driveway and vehicle image?
Correct.
Did you have an opportunity in this case to review the photographs that were collected from the crime scene of victim Charles Jones's black Dodge Charger?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you what has previously been admitted as State 7A alongside 101J. Throughout the course of your investigation, did you compare those images?
Yes.
Were there markers in which you investigated or documented were similar between the two images?
Yes.
And what were those markers? If you need to stand, please do so.
Sure. So here we have a crime scene photo to the left. This is from the actual scene at the hotel parking lot. And then on the right, we have the image that was extracted from Rashad Murphy's phone. And some of the same characteristics that I noted between the two images. Starting at the top, you'll see a windshield tint strip at the top that matches. And then as you go down, you'll see the opening in the hood that matches. And then as you go further down, here in the grill area, there's a Scat Pack logo. Appears to have one over here as well. And then the headlights and the lower part of the bumper all appear to match as well, from the victim's vehicle at the scene to the image saved on Rashad Murphy's phone.
And those were from June 20th of 2024?
Correct.
Were you able to retrieve, something looking like a poll of some kind?
Yeah, a Reddit poll specifically.
What is Reddit?
Reddit is another social media platform that people engage on.
Throughout the course of your investigation or during the course of the interview of defendant Rashad Murphy, did he say that he was ghost or admit that he was ghost?
No.
When you reviewed the content from the extraction, what made this June 21st post relevant to your case?
So this is a screenshot on Rashad Murphy's phone where he's screenshotting a poll from Reddit that reads, "Who is the top no face of Jax," as in Jacksonville, and then it lists 3 options, and on that top one we see Ghost 187, and then there's also a caption at the bottom that reads, "WAP and Spins always talk about Ghost in their songs. Never seen a trail of him on the internet. WAP got a whole song named after him called Ghost."
Throughout the course of your investigation, were you able to identify 2 individuals by the nicknames of Wappa with the Choppa and Spinabens?
Correct.
That post at 6:04 p.m., did you, in your review of Alicia Andrews' iCloud return, have an opportunity to look through the content on June 21st?
Correct.
What are we looking at on 76B1?
So this is starting at Friday night, the 21st. These are messages being sent in the green from Miss Alicia Andrews' Instagram account to another female by the name of Kiara Marie, and specifically asking her to book an Airbnb in Tampa for that weekend.
This is the Friday night before the Saturday appearances, for Charles Jones in Tampa?
Correct.
Had Charles Jones's Instagram account already at this time begun making posts about his having been in Tampa?
Correct.
On Friday the 21st at 12:29 p.m., so before those 6 p.m. messages on Miss Andrews' device, did Charles Jones post to his Instagram account?
Yes, that post there at 12:29 p.m.
And what information did he post?
He posted sending out Airbnb address at 3, start at 4:30 to 5 until we done turning up. DM me or Foolio booking at ESPN for the address.
Is that what Addy means?
Yes.
And now in 95F, what is that we're looking at?
That's a location indicator on a video. So this is a video posted indicating that when this is posted, he was in St. Petersburg.
Is St. Petersburg in Florida?
Yes.
And is St. Petersburg close to Tampa?
Correct.
What time was this one?
This one was at 1:15 a.m. on the 22nd.
From your review of the returns for Mr. Jones' Instagram account, Friday the 21st, going into the early morning hours of Saturday the 22nd, had Mr. Jones continued to post his location and his activities?
Yes.
On Instagram?
Yes.
Showing you 95B2 and B3. Were these posts representative of what then came after the St. Petersburg post?
Correct.
And can you describe for us what we're seeing here?
So these are posts from the victim's account. So on Friday evening, the 21st, he also went out to a club. These are posts where the victim posted and he tagged the person he was with. Specifically, the person in the image is known as Tax Free.
Were these videos or stills?
Videos.
And have you had a chance to look at those videos?
Yes.
When you watched the videos, could you tell the setting that the individuals were in?
Yes.
Where were they?
A nightclub of some sort.
The individuals who are tagged in 95B2, were they seen on camera in the videos?
Yes.
Tax-free 52K, is that the individual that's depicted in both 95B2 and B3?
Correct.
And what are we looking at in 95B3 at 4:06 a.m.?
That's a still image of Tax Free, and it has the location stamp of Tampa, Florida.
Did he tag anyone in that post itself?
Yes, so this is from Tax Free's own account, and he's tagging the victim's account and Robert Howard's account.
Why is this on the victim's return then, if it was Tax Free's post?
Engagement between the two.
Does Charles Jones or Julio Foolio have the ability to repost?
Yes, so if somebody tags you in their post, you can repost it on your post, and this is how it would show up.
If they don't tag you, can you repost someone else's post?
Yes.
In this particular instance, did Charles Jones repost this tagged image at 4:06 a.m.?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review the Instagram returns of Rashad Murphy to determine whether there was any interaction with Charles Jones or Tax Free's account after this post was made?
Yes.
88F3, can you explain to us what we're seeing now?
So this is after the post we just spoke about. This is Rashad Murphy's Instagram account searching for the gentleman who made that post, tax-free 52K, and that search is highlighted here in yellow, and it is at on Saturday the 22nd at 13:43, which is 1:43 p.m. UTC. So it would be 9:43 a.m. Eastern Standard.
Was this after Tax Free's posts
Yes.
and Charles Jones's repost?
Correct.
In the same cell phone extraction, in the early morning hours of June 22nd, was there an image depicted on the device of Rashad Murphy?
Yes.
And was this one of the photos that, through the pathway, you could determine whether it was actually taken with the device?
I can't recall.
Okay, but this image was present on that device?
Correct.
Were there other messages with this image as well?
Yes.
And did you save this image as relevant in some way to your investigation?
Yes.
Showing you 100, 101L, and 139E in evidence. Can you explain to us how it became relevant and what we're seeing here?
So in the middle here, we're seeing the image that was extracted from Rashad Murphy's phone. Some of the things that stand out immediately as it pertains to our investigation were on the left side of the image, you can see black pant legging tucked into a military-style black boot. So our review of the two separate videos, the one from Walmart on the left and then the one from the homicide scene on the right, we compared those pants being in that style, kind of slim fit, tucked into the boot, to both the footage of Mr. Rashad Murphy at the Walmart in Jacksonville on Friday and the person at the homicide scene who we've identified as Rashad Murphy on Sunday morning the 23rd. Also in this image in the center, if you look to the right and zoom in, there appears to be the pistol grip to a rifle poking out of the bag there.
101L, is this a zoomed image of that same photograph that we had discussed?
Yes, so in the yellow circle there, there's a what we would refer to as an A2 pistol grip with the finger grooves there that would be commonly seen on an AR-style pistol or rifle.
Forgive me, but can you stand up? When you
Sure.
point at your screen, we can't see what you're pointing at.
My apologies.
That's okay. If you'll just describe for us what you described for us just then.
Sure. So if you look here in this yellow circle, right here where I'm pointing, this is an appearance to a pistol grip that would be commonly found on an AR-style pistol or rifle, and you can tell that it has the finger groove right here and the same kind of coloring and style of a pistol grip for a rifle.
This is 6:22 at 3:09 a.m.
Correct.
Had you recovered records both from Rashad Murphy's records, Isaiah Chance's records, Airbnb, Cash App, additional records during this time frame
Yes.
that proved relevant to your investigation?
Very, yes.
Let's talk first about the Cash App records. Starting at 1:45 a.m., was there activity on your Cash App records or their returns that you used in your investigation?
Correct.
What was that activity?
So Mr. Chance's Cash App account, which has the handle of Mr. Richoff War, receives a certain amount of money from a account called Dot Breezy.
Were you able to confirm the address associated with that account?
Yes.
Were you able to also pull this, or was this ID image returned with that account?
Yes, so as we can see here in this image, the top right has a image of a Florida driver's license. So when Cash App gave me the return, they also included the images that the user would upload to prove their identity. And this specific photo was uploaded by the user, given to Cash App, and then provided to me.
Did you receive with their return the history of the user names associated to that account to confirm beyond just the identification card that was used?
Yeah, so on Cash App, whenever you change your handle, the name that you can be visibly seen by, it registers when the date and time that you changed it. So you can change it an unlimited amount of times. It's going to keep track of every time you change it and what you changed it to.
What was the date of the most recent change of the name to Mr. Richoff War?
August 11th, 2023.
And was that the last name change documented in the return from the Cash App records?
Correct.
Dating back to the origination of the account, were you able to trace back to determine whether Isaiah or the true name of Isaiah Chance had ever been used as the display name for the Cash App account?
Yeah, so if you look at the top of the image here, to the very first one, on November 9th, 2018, which would have been the very first screen name registered by Cash App, you can see the display name of Isaiah.
And were you able to look through the display name history to ascertain whether some of the names used matched the other user accounts that you had identified to Isaiah Chance?
Yes.
And does that include double G Gutta Zay?
Correct.
The last change to this account, though, would have been, looks like August 11th, from the Ghost 556s to the Mr. Richoff War.
Correct.
Now, you mentioned a transaction. Please just talk to us about the transaction that occurs in the early morning hours of June 22nd.
Yes, so on Cash App, it highlighted that approximately 1:45 a.m. on Saturday the 22nd, early morning hours of Saturday 22nd, an account with the name of J. Dot Breezy sends $390 to Mr. Richoff War, Isaiah Chance's account.
Are you, at this point in your investigation, familiar with J. Dot Breezy when you're reviewing these records?
Yes.
Do you understand the relevance or the importance of then seeing this transaction at this time in advance of the homicide?
Yes.
Did you discuss or share this information with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Correct.
And did you confirm that the image depicted of J. Dot Breezy was a fair and accurate depiction of his album or something of that nature?
Yes.
What was the meaning behind the album, or what was depicted in it?
So this is an album cover from J. Dot Breezy, where he's specifically doing the gesture of a middle finger and then holding a 6-ball, so fuck 6.
And 6 was identified as a name for who, or identification for whom in this case?
The victim, Mr. Jones.
Was the initial transaction for $390 sent by J. Dot Breezy to Mr. Richoff War, or that account?
Correct.
Was that initial transaction at 1:45 p.m. actually successful?
1:45 a.m.
I'm sorry, 1:45
Yes.
a.m.
Yes.
And was the first transaction itself, or sent, successful?
I believe the transaction from Mr. Breezy to Mr. Richoff War was successful, but then Mr. Richoff War's account attempts to do an Apple Pay, and those weren't successful.
At 2:09 a.m., was there a successful transaction?
No.
At 3:53 a.m., was there a successful transaction?
No.
By 3:54:42 a.m., had a successful transaction securing an Airbnb been made?
Yes.
And based on the return of those records, was a confirmation number included in the return from Airbnb?
Correct.
And, and the Cash App records?
Correct.
Is that what's depicted in, this slide?
Yes, correct. So at 3:54:42 a.m., we can see a successful transaction on Isaiah Chance's Cash App for the Airbnb. And the way we know it's the Airbnb is here on the right of the image. You can see Airbnb and then a star and then a confirmation code starting with H ending in 5N. That same confirmation code is on the Airbnb return for Rashad Murphy's Airbnb booking of the Airbnb that the defendants stayed at while they were in Tampa.
In State's Exhibit 106, is this that Airbnb booking subpoena that you were talking about?
Yes.
Can you tell us what we're looking at?
So this is from the return from Airbnb. They specifically provided all the information that they register when an Airbnb is booked. And as we can see here, importantly, we see the date that the reservation was made, which is Saturday the 22nd. That time is also in UTC, so the correct time would have been 3:54 a.m. We can see the same confirmation code starting in H, ending in 5N, and we can also see the address of the Airbnb that they booked, which is 3703 Gazebo Pond Lane in Tampa, Florida. And then we can see the method of payment. So the credit card that they use, it has the first 6 and then the last 4. It appears the zeros chopped off, but it would be 0642.
The image that was returned from Airbnb with a timestamp was the time on the Airbnb records that returned to you in UTC.
Yes.
And when you created or did the conversion from UTC to Eastern Standard Time, at what time was that Airbnb transaction?
3:54 a.m.
And at what time was the successful payment in the Cash App records?
3:54 a.m.
Did you review the subscriber for the Airbnb account records?
Yes.
And did you confirm the address that was secured for the Airbnb itself?
Correct.
Did you have an opportunity to compare this time frame to the cell phone extraction of Rashad Murphy?
Yes.
Was there an image relevant to your investigation from the cell phone extraction on Rashad Murphy's device at the time frame of the booking of the Airbnb?
Yeah. So within a minute of the booking of the Airbnb, we also see an image of a screenshot on Rashad Murphy's phone that has the phone number of Isaiah Chance saved on there.
Was there a contact associated with that phone number from that device?
Yes, Gutta Man.
Were you able to confirm that contact was relevant to your investigation and linked to any of the other suspects?
Yes, this is specifically Isaiah Chance's cell phone number, 904-309-4707.
Is this the only time that this screenshot on this phone becomes relevant in your investigation?
No.
After this screenshot, is there also a screenshot of another image?
Yes.
Is that what's depicted here in States 101N?
Correct.
Also from the same device?
Yes.
And tell us what we're seeing here.
So what we can see here is a screenshot on Rashad Murphy's physical device of messaging from the Airbnb app. So this appears to be a message that would have been sent right after the Airbnb was booked, and it's highlighting hello Rashad, and wanted to confirm right away reservation at Lagoon Oasis, and it also requests because of the HOA a picture of a valid ID.
Was this screenshot itself actually saved to the device?
Yes.
And was that information able to be confirmed with the path data?
Correct.
Now, looking at that last slide, I apologize. The screenshot itself you told us is taken at 3:59. Is that something you can tell from the picture?
Yes.
And then is that saved data at a different time?
Yes, at 4:11.
Was there also another image a few seconds later on the same device that was saved?
Yes, so at 4:11 again is an image of Rashad Murphy's Florida identification card.
These are all in the early morning hours of June 22nd?
Yes.
Did you begin to look through the records of Charles Jones or the Julio Foolio Instagram account for his activities on the 22nd after what we've already seen from the early morning hours at the club?
Yes.
Did Charles Jones make an Instagram post at 2:20 p.m. on the day before he was killed in the early morning hours of the 23rd?
Yes, he did.
Is that what we're seeing in 95B4?
Yes.
Describe for us whether these were stills or videos.
So the one on the left that posted at 2:20 p.m. on Saturday was specifically a video. Mr. Jones is some kind of store, and then he puts in the captions, 5 or 6 o'clock, pull up, pool party, and then he tags another one of his accounts, Folio Booking ESPN.
Did you have an opportunity to watch those posts to Mr. Jones' to his Instagram?
Yes.
Was he describing a pool party occurring at the Airbnb he was utilizing on that day?
Correct.
Would this have been the first Airbnb that group had booked, or the second?
The second.
Was the image on the right also of importance from 4:58 p.m.?
Yes.
And was that depicting anything in particular?
So this specific video is posted at 4:58 p.m. It actually is a video of the Airbnb where the pool party is going to be at, shows the pool in the background, and then it has a location tag of Tampa, Florida.
And that's 4:58 p.m. on the 22nd.
Correct.
Was there something also depicted or returned from Mr. Rashad Murphy's device at 4:59 p.m.?
Yes.
What was that?
It's that screenshot, again, of Isaiah Chance's number, and we can tell in the pathway SMS that this was an image that was either sent or received at that time.
What is SMS?
So SMS is the coding for text messaging services.
At 5:22 p.m., were you able to, from the extraction of Sean Gathrigh's device, retrieve any text messages of relevance?
Yes.
Is that what we're looking at here?
Yes.
Who were these messages with or to?
So this specific image came from the extraction of defendant Sean Gaithright's iCloud, so the backup that he did. And this is a message from Isaiah Chance's number, 309-4707, to Sean Gaithright's number, 945-3825. And it appears that Isaiah Chance is sending the address to the Airbnb that the defendants would stay at to Sean Gathright.
I understand that we'll get to the cell phone location data later,
Sure.
but are you able to tell us where the devices were at this time?
At this time, they're all traveling down from Jacksonville to Tampa.
And were you able to confirm that Airbnb address on the text message with what you had from the records on returns from Airbnb?
Yes.
At 6:43 p.m., was there another image or still image from the device of Rashad Murphy?
Yes.
And was that same screenshot?
Correct.
How is it that you were able to determine that it was the same screenshot that we saw 1 minute after the transaction and then around 4:53 and now at 6:43?
The image itself has the timestamp of when it was captured, and then that on the top right, that apparently FaceTime call. So it's the same image every time.
At 7:55 p.m. in Exhibit 61B, were you able to confirm the group's arrival to the Airbnb?
Yes.
When you reviewed the ring footage, was there more than one individual depicted as arriving at 7:55 p.m. on the evening of June 22nd?
From the ring footage, no. We can only see co-defendant Alicia Andrews arriving.
Was there other information that you took into consideration as to arrival times?
Yes, the cell phone location data.
Who else would have been arriving at the Airbnb location based on the cell phone location data?
At the same time that co-defendant Alicia Andrews arrives, the devices to Isaiah Chance and Sean Gathright arrive, and then within 2 minutes after that, we see the device of Davion Murphy arrive in this location as well.
In 95B4 is the image on the left, the Instagram video that you previously indicated Mr. Jones had posted from some kind of a store about a pool party.
Correct.
What is it that we're looking at in 138B1, please?
So the image on the right here is actually a screen recording that was saved on Sean Gaithright's iCloud backup, and it's a screen recording where it appears that his device is watching the victim's posts on social media and screen recording them at the same time.
May I confirm that 138 has previously been admitted? Yes.
Is that a yes? Yes. Okay.
Thank you. Did you have an opportunity to review that screen recording?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to identify markers in that recording and identify the device on which that recording was retrieved from?
Yes.
Was this recording, that once you obtained it, on any of the extractions or returns?
Yes, it was specifically on Sean Gaithright's iCloud return.
Publishing 138B1. Was there volume or sound?
I can't recall. The original post, yes. I can't recall if the screen recording had it.
Detective, did that screen recording for Sean Gathright that we have just viewed, was that on the device and in this time range? Meaning has it been sped up or slowed down or anything like that?
No, it hasn't been edited.
So when we are looking at it, are we looking at what was occurring in real time on 6/22 of 2024 between 8:39 and the minutes thereafter?
Yes.
So the recording that is recovered, are we able to take still images from that recording?
Yes.
And are you able to identify certain markers from those still images, identifying this device as Sean Gaathright's as well?
Correct.
There was some discussion about media also recovered from this device. Was there an opportunity for you during the time frame of the conspiracy in this case to review the photographs on Sean Gaathright's device?
Yes.
Were you able to, at least peripherally, identify the child that's depicted as a relative's child on the back of the device?
Correct.
In looking at the home screen itself, are you able to find the calendar app on the phone?
Yeah, so in the image in the right, in the yellow circle, you can see the 8 little boxes, and you can see the calendar app is listed as the 22nd. So that's what helped us figure out that this video was screen recorded on the 22nd, and then the time is listed at the top left as 8:41 p.m.
Was there also some data as well from the cell phone extraction for the video?
Yes.
Talking about the screenshots specifically from that screen recording on his device at 138B1, what are we looking at on the left?
So this is, during the screen recording, Sean Gaathright's device is looking at the victim's Instagram profile, and that's what we can see on the 2 images of the left. Those are posts that the victim made publicly from his Instagram, advertising that there would be a pool party at an Airbnb, and then the one in the middle, you can actually see the video recording that the victim posts while he's at that pool Airbnb. We can actually see Gino Norris there in the background in the middle photo.
So in the center photo there, you're able to identify one of the people present with Charles Jones?
Yes.
And was that person confirmed to be Gino Norris, the individual in Mr. Jones's vehicle with Xavier Edwards at the time of the homicide?
Correct.
Was Mr. Gino Norris, admittedly or based on your investigation, at the Airbnb with Charles Jones?
Yes, he was.
And was there a pool at the Airbnb that Mr. Jones and his party were kicked out of?
Correct.
What about waterfront or oceanfront area of that same Airbnb?
Yes, so it's a pool at an Airbnb that appears to be on the waterfront as well.
In your review of the screen recording taken by Mr. Gaathright's device, at 8:39, were there selections in applications like Airbnb or VRBO for homes or houses to rent on the waterfront or with a pool?
Correct.
And now we're saying screen recording. Is there an option on your device to take a screen recording, and how do you do that?
Yeah, so you would, specifically for iPhones, you would manually select screen recording before it starts recording, and so it's going to record whatever your screen is happening on your screen at that time. That's why we see a lot of jumping around, but the screen is recording what's happening at that moment.
And to get to a screen recording, is there a mechanism that you can find the screen recording for your phone on your settings?
Yes.
How about, like my phone, for example, if I just swipe down, there's a dot. Is that dot for recording?
Yes.
When I press on recording from my phone, or that circular dot, does it start to record or preserve everything I'm doing on my phone?
It counts down 3 seconds and then it starts to record, correct.
And for how long does it record?
Until you turn it off.
Were there additional screen grabs from that recording from Mr. Gathright?
Yes.
And looking at 138, B5 and 6, were you able to create a still when he returned to the maps of the device?
Yes.
Why was the image depicted on the left, B5, important in your investigation?
So what we can see on the image on the left of importance is that that the user who's operating this device has selected 97 North Nebraska as an address he was focusing in on, and that's the address to Teasers nightclub where we knew the victim was going to be at later in the evening to perform. And then also of big significance is the user of that device on the maps is actually highlighted by his own location dot, which is that blue dot at the top right. And that was significant because that's the area that the Airbnb 3703 Gazebo Pond Lane, where the defendant stayed at, was located at.
The image on the right side of your screen, is there also a pinned location?
Yes, the red dot there.
What is that?
That pinned location would be a location that you visit often, and on this specific device, it was Victoria Lakes, which is the address that matches Sean Gaithright's house, 13751 Victoria Lakes Drive in Jacksonville, Florida.
Is that ultimately where a search warrant was conducted in this particular case at the residence belonging to Sean Gathright?
Correct.
And were there initials also associated to the device?
Yes, so in the second yellow circle to the right there, you can see the initials SG, and that's indicating the account holder of the iCloud account or the iPhone at that time. SG are the initials of Sean Gathright.
And you said the circle with the blue here, that is where the device is at the time it's opened, the map, is that what you said?
Correct.
That was consistent with the Airbnb location.
3703 Gazebo Pond Lane, correct.
And was that information consistent with the location data from SeanGathright's device as well?
Yes.
At this point, had any information about the Truth 18, the second club, actually been released on social media by the victim?
No.
So the only information about appearances or Charles Jones's location that had been publicized by Charles Jones had been the Teasers performance location, or appearance location, which was location 1, Club 1.
So at this point, there's only two things that were advertised. The pool party, but he didn't give the address, so that wasn't publicly available, just that he was having a pool party. And then the only publicly available address had been the Teasers performance, correct.
And what were the instructions on Charles Jones's pages if you wanted the address to come to the pool party before Teasers at the Airbnb?
Mr. Jones was requesting, in the video, he specifically has any females who want to attend the party to privately DM him, and then he would send them the address.
In the additional stills from the recording, were there specific searches for Teasers Gentlemen's Club?
Yes.
Did those also occur at 8:44 p.m.?
Yes.
And is this the same Teasers Gentlemen's Club that is advertised on Charles Jones's social media account for his appearance later that evening?
Yes.
From the return on Sean Gathright's device, were you able to access the searched items?
Yes.
Was there anything of relevance in the searched items from Mr. Gathright's device?
Yes, so we can see in this image that Sean Gathriight's device actually uses the search feature in the web browser Safari to search the value Teasers Gentlemen Club at 10:03 p.m. on Saturday, 6/22.
By 11 p.m., is Charles Jones again starting to post to Instagram, 95A?
Yes.
And are these the stories that you had recorded from Mr. Jones's Instagram account, or include the stories that you had recorded?
Correct.
Was he then ultimately also posting into the early morning hours of the 23rd before his death?
Yes, he starts Saturday night and then goes into Sunday morning, the 23rd.
Is this the last of the post from Saturday night on the 22nd?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize. Were you able to document the actual videos or recordings from the posts that Charles Jones was making?
Yes.
And were they stored in your Instagram returns as separate video files?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if I can turn the volume down first, and then I'll publish those. All right, so on the 22nd at 11:07 p.m., is this the last post of the evening, or the last video of the evening before we get to the early morning hours of the 23rd?
Correct.
Okay.
Got me drinking, cuz. I don't even drink,
Was this video after your interview of the individuals present in your investigation in this case of the information returned from social media and their devices at the Airbnb before they go to Teasers for the first appearance?
Yes, correct. This video is being recorded at the Airbnb where the pool party is happening before they go to Teasers.
Is the video depicted here from 95A also still at the Airbnb itself?
Yes, correct.
And did Charles Jones post this to his stories at 12:16 a.m.?
Yes, he did.
Appreciate everybody popping out for my birthday, you know what I'm saying? Birthday! Happy birthday! Everybody got their shot for their son. Everybody about to take that shit on 3, man. 1, 2, 3.
At 12:27 a.m., did Charles Jones also post and included in that post tag someone else?
Correct.
Who's the individual that Charles Jones tagged?
Muzzle.
Is the name at Mizzle, or the individual that's ultimately identified as Mizzle, is that someone different than Darius Beals, aka Fizzle with an F?
Yes, two completely different people.
Okay. Were you ultimately able in the course of your investigation to identify a Mizzle present at the Airbnb?
Yes.
And was this a story or a video as well?
Correct.
Got my brother with me, he done popped out for my birthday, you know that time, oh God, yeah.
Did Mr. at Mizzle post this same story that Charles Jones posted to his Instagram account as well?
Yes, Muzzle's account reposted the victim's post, correct.
In 125, is this Mr. Mizzle's account return, or the story from Mr. Mizzle's account?
Yes.
And were you able to review, after this post at 12:27 a.m., the return records for Rashad Murphy's Instagram account?
Yes.
At 12:38 a.m., approximately 11 minutes later, was there an Instagram message exchange with Ghost187 and John Wall22?
Correct.
And again, Ghost187 had been identified to Rashad Murphy.
Yes.
And what was the exchange that occurred at 12:38 a.m. on the 23rd?
So what we can see from Rashad Murphy's Instagram return is a message sent to the user John Wall22, and in the body you can see the actual message that he sent. And at 12:38 a.m. on the 23rd, Rashad Murphy's account messages to John Wall, "Get the B&B for me, gang."
What does Mr. John Wall reply, if anything?
John Wall replies, "Man, you know I want it myself, and if I could, I would have had it. There's so many hoes there, just ask one of somebody can get it from them."
At this point in your investigation, based on the stories and the returns from Charles Jones's account, are they still posting from the Airbnb?
Yes.
That's 12:38 a.m. What about at 12:44 a.m.? Is there anything of relevance or significance that occurs with likes on Mr. Rashad Murphy's account?
Yes, he likes a post by Young and Ace from ATK.
Is Young and Ace Kenyatta Bullard?
Yes.
And is that the same individual who created the Raps videos that we've seen thus far? So Who I Smoke or Do It?
Do It, Game Over, yes.
By 1:22 a.m., was there a return from Isaiah Chance's account in searching for any of the individuals that were present at the Airbnb with Charles Jones?
Yes, so at this specific time, Isaiah Chance's Instagram account got as a searches, as we can see and selected, for the account of Muzzle.
And is that username the same username that was tagged in Charles Jones's story?
Yes, correct.
And is that the same Mizzle account that you obtained returns for, which reposted Charles Jones's stories to his own account?
Correct.
A few moments later, do the cell phones track to a nearby restaurant location?
Yes, specifically the devices attributed to Davion Murphy, Alicia Andrews, and Isaiah Chance tracked to a McDonald's on Fletcher.
During the course of your interview or the investigation itself, did Isaiah Chance admit that he was present at this McDonald's or just at this McDonald's, please?
Yes.
Did the cell phone information also confirm that?
Correct.
Are you able in the McDonald's video also to actually see the two front passengers?
Yes.
And are you able to confirm device usage while they're in line waiting in the McDonald's video?
Yes, specifically the female in the front right seat is using a phone. You can see it through the windshield.
Are you able to see a device being utilized by Davion Murphy at that point?
I believe so, while he's waiting for his food.
They are in or at the McDonald's from approximately 1:35 to 1:43, is that correct?
Approximately, yes.
And during the same course of that time, is there a conversation started that you have recovered from the device of Sean Gathright?
Yeah, so while these three are at McDonald's, there's, from Sean Gathright's iCloud account, we can see that he's texting a woman, yes.
94C2, is this the text message that was recovered, or this text message exchange that was recovered from Sean Gathright's account?
Correct.
Were you able to ascertain through your review of the device and the media itself the relationship between Sean Gathright and an individual by the name of Kyla Enright?
Yes.
What was the nature of that relationship?
Sean Gathright and Kyla Enright appear to be romantically involved with each other.
And what's the relationship to Nevaeh Gathright?
Kyla Enright, Sean Gathright's girlfriend, is good friends with Sean Gathright's sister, Nevaeh Gathright.
Now, did Sean Gathright actually make any admissions that Miss Kyla Enright was his girlfriend, like official girlfriend?
No.
Is that information that you gleaned from the content of the exchanges?
Yes.
Talk to me about that text message exchange, please, starting at 1:32 a.m.
Yeah, so starting at 1:32 a.m. on the early morning hours of Sunday the 23rd, while the other three are at McDonald's, Sean Gathright's device texts Kyla Enright's device saying, "I need you to text Fat Boy. I need y'all to text Fat Boy."
Were you able, throughout the course of your investigation, to determine who Fat Boy was or may have been?
Yes.
Who was that?
Xavier Edwards.
And what, if any, responses there?
Kyla responds about what?
Does Mr. Gathright respond?
Yes, he says, "Hey sis, I need you to text Fat Boy and tell him you're trying to pull up and trying to see him tonight."
At this point, do you know who's on the other line from Miss Kyla Enright's device?
From Kyla Enright's statement, we knew that her and Nevaeh were together at this time, but when he says, "Hey sis," I'm not 100% sure whether Sean's talking to his sister through through Kyla's device, or if he's talking directly to Kyla.
And is there a response as well to his messages about texting Fat Boy?
Yes.
What is that?
He know I'm gone. I've been FaceTiming him while I'm out.
Does Mr. Gathright send additional messages, and what were they?
Yes, he says he's in Tampa right now. Bruh, make it seem like you don't know that he's there. He's at a B&B with 6. Be like, "Where you at? I want to pull up. I'm drunk and trying to fuck." And then never mind.
Was there a response to his 4 text messages?
Yes, we at Tier the club.
Were you able to, throughout your investigation, determine where the devices for Kyla Enright or Nevaeh Gathright were on the early morning hours of the 23rd when these messages are sent?
Their devices, no.
Or where they are?
Yes, their statements in Orlando.
Does Kyla, or the title Kyla, respond?
Yes. Kyla says, "You want to come to the B&B with us, question mark?" And Sean Gathright says, "No, I'm in Tampa. I'm trying to see where his B&B is at." Kyla then responds, "Whose B&B?" And then Sean Gathright responds, 6.
Throughout the course of your investigation, who was identified as 6?
The victim, Charles Jones.
Was there anything after 6 and before Sean Gathright sends another text?
Yeah, he in between 6 and Fools? There was nothing in between 6 and Fools. The very next one, he elaborates Fools.
And what was the message after that?
Fools, and then it's his birthday and Fat Boy's with him.
To your understanding, was it Charles Jones's birthday weekend, the celebration for which they all came down to Tampa?
Yes.
And did Kyla respond?
Yes. Not here in Jacksonville.
And Gathright?
Nah, they're in Tampa. Kyla then responds, "What, question mark?"
Does Kyla send another message after what?
The very next one after what is, "Let me FaceTime."
And does Sean Gathright respond?
"Bruh, make it like you don't know it." And then Kyla responds, "Fat Boy's going to Teasers tonight," or some shit like that.
At 1:34 a.m., does Mr. Jones start to post updates about his location to Instagram?
Correct.
What was the first update, please? 95A.
Yeah, so at 1:34 a.m., Mr. Jones posts publicly to his account, "The police shut us down and kicked us out of their Airbnb. That's crazy work." So at this point of the night, his group is being thrown out of the Airbnb where the pool party's at.
a few moments later, 1:41 a.m.?
Yes, this is from the victim's Instagram. He publicly posts, "Best birthday ever. Appreciate everybody who pulled up. We turned up till we couldn't no more. We're on the way to the show. Y'all pull up."
This story to Charles Jones's account is posted at 1:41 a.m.
Correct.
Based on the return from Sean Gathright's device, is there a new contact added to his phone a few minutes later, 1:55 a.m.?
Correct. So at 1:55 a.m., we actually see that Sean Gathright's device saves co-defendant Alicia Andrews' number as Braun in his phone.
Does this device ultimately then, throughout the night, make contact with the contact named Braun?
Yes, correct.
At 1:59 a.m., is there the first of several exchanges between Braun's device and the device ending 3825 identified to Sean Gathright?
Yes, so from Alicia Andrews' device to Sean Gathright's device, correct.
At 2 o'clock a.m., can you describe for us what we're seeing?
So what we're seeing at 2 a.m. is from Alicia Andrews' device, we see started sharing location. So this is where one iPhone can share its location with another iPhone so that Sean Gathright's device will be able to see where Alicia Andrews' device is at.
Do you also have the call detail records that you're comparing against the social media records and the iCloud returns from their phones?
Correct.
At 2:08 a.m., are there contacts by way of phone calls or messaging between Sean Gathright's device and that belonging to Alicia Andrews?
Correct.
And by 2:24 a.m., where does the device location information as well as the video evidence take us?
So at this point, the devices start tracking to the area of Teasers, and then we can corroborate that with seeing them arrive on camera at Teasers.
At this time, Your Honor, the state seeks to admit State's Exhibits 129 and 149 A through C. 129 will be A through E.
Okay, any new objections, Mr. Gonzalez?
No objection.
Any new objections, Mr. Sonardi?
No objection.
Any new objections, Mr. Wise?
129
And Mr. Petrides?
All jurors are in, Judge.
Okay, very good. Everyone have a seat, and you may continue.
Detective, we left off talking about the teasers footage that you had an opportunity to obtain. So in 41A at 2:24 a.m., are we seeing the vehicle arrive, the silver Chevy Cruze?
Correct.
And based on your investigation, did this Cruze belong to a family member or someone's family member with Rashad Murphy?
Correct.
They had obtained this vehicle.
Correct.
At 2:27, does that vehicle park into the occupant's exit?
Yes.
And at 2:28, what is it that we're seeing here on the left of the screen?
What we're seeing on the left of the screen is the two occupants of the silver Cruze walk through the parking lot on foot towards the area of the front door of the Clinton Teasers Club.
Are you able to show us where at 2:28 on the image to the right of 41A, Charles Jones is depicted when he arrives?
Yes, on the right, can I point it out?
Sure, yes, and you can stay standing for the next one as well.
Sure. So on the image on the right, we can see the victim, Charles Jones, right here with the red beanie cap.
At some point, does he stay outside for a minute or two before actually entering the club?
Yes.
And at 2:29, what are we seeing?
Now we're seeing the occupants of the silver Cruze walking back towards the silver Cruze on the rear camera there.
From the camera angle on the right, is that Mr. Jones entering?
Yes, Mr. Jones is about to enter the club.
Did you have an opportunity to observe the club location, a map of the club location, and the footage in its entirety?
Yes.
Were you able to determine the point at which Miss Andrews and Mr. Chance actually walked to before returning to the vehicle?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Could you see where they stopped before coming to the front door?
No, they stopped just out of view of one camera, but it would have been in the area of this camera near that speed limit sign at the right there.
And were they captured on this camera here?
No.
I'm showing you a depiction of 39, but with only the movement that you previously testified to of Isaiah Chance or Alicia Andrews, and is that what's depicted in blue?
Yes, so the blue box is the silver Cruze, and then the blue dots would kind of resemble the path that the two occupants took. and then they come just off of view in what is essentially the southwest corner of Teasers, which would have been directly in line with the front door of Teasers at the southeast of the building.
And is Charles Jones's vehicle that was backed into a spot also depicted right at the front door there?
Correct. That's designated by this green box right here.
Based on the review of the footage, could you see at any point Mr. Chance or Miss Andrews entering the frame of the video camera that covered the door?
Yeah, Alicia and Isaiah never go anywhere near the front door.
In 125 was the account of the individual Mizzle or Mr. Taylor posting as well throughout their time inside of the Teasers nightclub?
Yes.
And based on the information that was obtained from that account, was it consistent with the same time that victim Charles Jones was located at that Teasers club?
Correct.
While still inside of the club, while the victim and the entourage are still inside of the club, are there still messages or communications between the Andrews device and Mr. Gathraight's device?
Correct. So from Sean Gathwright's iCloud download, we were able to see that Alicia Andrews' device at 2:31 a.m. sends a message to Sean Gathwright's device saying, "N-word, pick up the fucking phone."
Is that message sent or attempted to send twice?
Yeah, it's the same. It's actually not the exact same. We can see OH and PH. So, but the same message is being delivered twice. One at 02:31:19 and one at 02:31:24.
What was the significance of the Teasers footage as it related to the messages that were sent and who actually possessed the phone?
Specifically, we can see from the video that Isaiah Chance had taken Alicia Andrews' phone to use during this time period.
In 71D, did the CDR or the call detail records that you got actually support the communications between those two devices beyond the text messaging?
Yes, so from the call detail records, we can see that Alicia Andrews' device is placing a call outgoing at 2:31:54, 2:32:07, and those calls did not connect. And then we see the messages, pick up the phone, pick up the phone.
Did you capture Charles Jones exiting the club at around 2:54 a.m.?
Correct.
And did you capture on the back camera the black Impala arriving to the club?
Yes.
By this point at 2:54, 2:55, had the Silver Chevy Cruze left the parking lot of Teasers?
Yes, the Silver Cruze left around 2:31, went down towards Hillsborough, and then started working its way back up.
And is that what the cell site information told you?
Correct.
Looking first at 2:55, is this the time frame at which you see the Chevy Impala arrive?
Yes.
And after the Chevy Impala arrives there on video, is there a still in the returns from Alicia Andrews' device depicting a map or a screenshot that was taken on that device of a map?
Yeah, so from Alicia Andrews' iCloud, we actually see a screenshot that was saved, and that screenshot has the time at the top left listed at 2:58, and it appears to be map directions going back towards Castle Street. Castle Street is this side street that Teaser sits on.
And at 2:58 a.m., is that a few minutes or 3 minutes after what we've just seen as the black Impala arriving at that Teaser's location?
Correct.
Is this map or still shot of a map consistent with the device going back to Teasers?
With the cell location data, yes, correct.
And is what's depicted on the device, specifically around the time itself, consistent with the user being on the telephone or on the phone at the time?
Correct. The green, you can tell by the green at the top left that he's on the phone.
The fact that the time is in green?
Yes, correct.
Did Mr. Charles Jones, after leaving Teasers, post his next location to Instagram?
Yes.
How did he first go about posting his location?
He posts two posts. The first one at 3:28 is him and his entourage coming up the stairs of Truth 18, and then the one after that is an actual flyer with the Truth 18 name and address on it.
At the time that he came up the stairs, had he actually posted on his Instagram account the location of Truth 18 or an address or any kind of information about Truth 18?
Not yet.
In 95A, what's depicted here at 3:30 a.m., so 2 minutes after that coming up the stairs post, was there a flyer posted to Charles Jones' Instagram?
Yes.
Had this flyer been posted as a poster in the stories depicting the address or the name of Club Number 2, Truth 18 yet?
Prior to 3:30 a.m., there is no post about Truth 18 or the address.
Did the post that was on Charles Jones' stories here depict the address?
Yes, to Truth 18, 4819 East Bush Boulevard.
Were you able to review the LPR or license plate reader images or returns from around Truth 18 to determine whether the silver Chevy Cruze or the black Impala were in the area at that time?
So after 3:30, the silver Chevy Cruze and the black Chevy Impala hit an LPR eastbound on Hillsborough at 15th, and then they go north on 40th towards Truth.
Showing you now states 82 and 46. Please describe for us what was being depicted in these two images.
So what we can see here on the left is the black Chevy Impala, at this time being occupied by Sean Gathright, Davion Murphy, and Rashad Murphy, hitting at Hillsborough and 15th at 3:41 a.m. And then within 60 seconds, the silver Cruze that at this time is being occupied by Alicia Andrews, hitting at that same plate reader in the same direction.
Do these captures come 11 minutes or approximately 11 minutes after the story with the flyer from Julio Foolio's Instagram account?
Yes, this is approximately 11 minutes after Mr. Jones posts the address to Truth 18.
And the intersection itself, East Hillsborough Avenue and 15th Street, is it consistent with heading towards the Truth 18 location?
Yes.
Were you able to confirm both the silver Chevy Cruze and the black Chevy Impala in the area of the Truth 18 Club thereafter?
Yes.
Between 4:03 and 4:05 a.m., were you able to retrieve footage from the parking lot of the Truth 18?
Yes.
States Exhibit number 44. Is this the footage that you obtained from that parking lot?
Correct.
Were there surrounding cameras as well from the parking lots across the street?
Yes.
The two individuals at the top of the screen, are those the individuals that you had previously described dressed in the same manner as having been in the parking lot of the first club, Teasers?
Correct.
Did you review all of the camera angles from this location?
Yes.
Did these individuals go up the stairs to the Truth 18 Club?
No, they do not.
Walking back across the top of the camera to the right of the screen that we're looking at now, is there a camera on the east side of these buildings that actually depicts where these individuals went?
No.
From 4:05 a.m., are these stills from that same footage or from the building itself?
Yes.
Are you able to identify Armani Turner's vehicle or Taifa McRae's vehicle from this still image?
Yes, on the image on the left, you can see Armani Turner's gray Hyundai Sonata in the top left, just to the left of the two subjects. And then on the bottom of the image, you can see Taifa McRae's black Altima.
What, if anything, in reviewing the video footage became relevant to you 4 minutes later at 4:09 a.m.?
Yeah, so from Alicia Andrews' iCloud extraction, we saw a screenshot that appeared to be an image of Truth 18 from the exterior, and we can see in that image a gentleman walking through the parking lot. So I went back through the video and found that same gentleman coming out to get an idea of when that image was captured.
Was there something distinctive about the gentleman's clothing that helped you to make an identification about when the photo was taken?
Yes, he's wearing very light whitewash jeans, and then looks like a black shirt with some bold yellow coming down the middle of it there, or gold.
And was there time and date stamp data included with Alicia Andrews' return that put the image that was captured in 75C2 on her device at 4:10 a.m. or 1 minute later?
I didn't get the time from the download. I got the time by cross-referencing it to the video.
Were you able ultimately, with the download information or the data that comes from the photo, to confirm the time as well?
Yes.
But in your investigation, you did this search first to find the individual walking through the parking lot.
Yeah, we can see the same individual from the video footage that came down the stairs now on the screen of the image captured from Alicia Andrews' device.
Now, what are we looking at on the actual image captured from her device?
So in the right of the screen here, what we're looking at is actually the camera, the iPhone camera app open up. So as if you're about to take a picture and then a screenshot taken. So the device didn't actually take a picture. The camera was open, the app was open, it was pointing in the direction of Truth 18, and then a screenshot was taken in order to capture that image.
And this is at 4:10 or approximately 4:10 a.m.
Correct.
Between 4:10 a.m. and 4:15 a.m., do you have footage or were you able to view footage of Charles Jones' entourage actually leaving Truth 18?
Yes.
And showing you states 44, is this when Charles Jones is actually coming out of the building?
Correct.
Also depicted are there Xavier Edwards?
Yes.
How about Robert Howard?
Yes.
How about Muzzle, the individual present at the first B&B and then the second club?
Yes.
In states 44, at 4:18 a.m., were you able to capture a separate angle of the downstairs of Truth 18?
Yes, correct.
And what was of significance at the 4:18 time frame?
So this time period is during the period that the victim and his entourage are loading into their vehicles, getting ready to leave Truth 18 to head towards Homes to Suites. And what we can see in this image in the top center in the yellow circle there is actually Sean Gaithright's black Impala staged across the street within line of view of the victim's location.
Were you able to track on the other camera angles? I know that you provided us a composite from these cameras. Were you
Yes.
able to track on the other camera angles the black Chevy Impala leaving the Enterprise parking lot?
Yes.
And what?
Top center in the yellow circle there.
Okay. I don't know where the feedback was coming from, but, okay, go ahead.
And were you able to track it from the Enterprise parking lot across the street to the Cash America side alley or the side street?
Correct.
And were you able to capture it on those cameras as well?
Yes.
And were those included in your summary exhibit for the camera angles from Truth 18?
Yes, correct.
Were the cell phone information data that you did have and for the Black Impala occupants and the cell phone information data for the Chevy Cruze occupants also pinging to this location?
Yes, correct.
In states 44, your composite here, could you just explain to us what's happening across the street in the Enterprise parking lot, please?
Yeah, top left of the screen in the Enterprise parking lot, we see Sean Gaithright's black Impala backing out of a parking spot, and then it's going to drive north through the intersection on Hialeah.
And at this time, in your summary, are the entourage exiting the club and entering their vehicles?
Correct.
Does the entourage immediately leave the club?
No, they loitered in the parking lot area for a couple minutes.
And in 44, were you actually able to see on this camera angle or the Truth 18 cameras that were returned the rear tail lights on the top of the screen up here?
Yes.
And are you able to see the Chevy Impala headlights come back into frame up this roadway here after a U-turn?
Yeah, so at this point in the image, both the Silver Cruise, the bottom wheelbase of it, and the tail lights are visible at the very top center. And then we can see the black Impala at the top right here at the stop bar.
And do you see the white pants, black top individual walking across the street
Yeah, he
here?
just walked past the Cruise to the left.
Does the black Chevy Impala then remain here for several minutes?
Yes.
Is this an accurate depiction of the movement of the black Chevy Impala in relation to the Truth 18 in 42?
Yes.
And at this time, based on the amount of time and the distance to the Home to Suites Hotel, are the occupants of the black Chevy Impala, based on your investigation, depicted?
Yes.
Who are they?
Sean Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy.
Based on the Chevy Impala parked across the street there, is the blue box in this image a fair and accurate depiction? I'm sorry, not the Chevy Impala, the Chevy Cruze. Is the blue box a depiction fairly and accurately of where the Chevy Cruze had been parked at this time that we saw in the video?
Correct. So the blue box is where the silver Chevy Cruze was parked.
And the black box, the Chevy Impala.
The black Chevy Impala, correct.
How about the green boxes just outside of the Truth 18?
Those are the victim's Dodge Charger, Armani Turner's Hyundai Sonata, and Tafa McRae's black Altima.
From the camera angle that we have, which vehicle is parked opposite of the others?
Armani Turner's gray Hyundai Sonata.
Which vehicle is parked directly under the camera angle?
Tafa McRae's black Nissan Altima.
And which vehicle is parked just to the right there of the stairs?
Mr. Jones' black Dodge Charger.
By the time that they actually leave, were all of the vehicles leaving together?
Yes.
Showing you now the higher side on 149 of the camera angle at 420. Was that black Chevy Impala still there?
Yes.
Is that depicted in the composite exhibit of 44 that we've already seen for the video?
Yes.
And did that black Chevy Impala remain there until the entourage starts to leave the parking lot of Truth 18?
When the entourage starts to go mobile, the black Chevy Impala darts across the intersection southbound.
I'm just going to fast forward the video composite for you if we can here. Are you able to see the people who had previously identified themselves in these images as Robert Howard, Armani Turner, and Adoja Randolph?
Correct.
Is this black Nissan Altima that which you had described as Mr. McRae's vehicle?
Yes.
And is this in the parking lot activity that you described for a couple of minutes?
Correct.
Is the vehicle that is coming across here the black Chevy Impala you've just described?
Yes.
If I speed forward, do you see that black Chevy Impala come back to the stop sign?
Yeah, it made a U-turn and now it's facing southbound. You can see the headlights of it at the stop bar in the top right.
And between 417 and 421, are you able to monitor whether that vehicle leaves that position?
It stays there.
Just going to speed forward if I can, and then I'll give you a timestamp. Do you then have an opportunity to see the vehicles associated to the entourage then start to move out of those parking spaces?
Yes, Tafa McRae's Altima goes out first, eastbound through the parking lot towards Hialeah.
And do you ultimately see or capture the victim vehicle of the Charger heading out as well?
Correct. The Charger and then Armani Turner Sonata, all three going east through the parking lot towards Hialeah.
That is between 4:17 and 4:21 a.m., is that correct?
Correct.
By 4:25 a.m., are there exchanges between Sean Gathraight's device and Alicia Andrews' device again?
Yes, so at 4:25 a.m., Alicia Andrews' device again sends a live location and starts sharing a location with Sean Gathright's device.
Are you able to capture the path of travel to the homes and suites on some of the pole cameras on the route?
Yes.
Are you able to capture the black Dodge Charger on the pole cameras?
Yes.
The other vehicles associated to the entourage?
Yes.
And are you ultimately able to capture both the Impala and the Chevy Cruze at some point on the pole cameras?
Correct.
From 425 at the sharing location to 427, is there an update on the home to suites camera that's already been admitted as 22B?
Yes.
What happens at 427?
This is when the victim and his entourage are arriving and parking in front of the hotel.
Are you familiar enough with the area to know where the intersection is that the pole camera captures this Dodge Charger and the Cruze arriving after it?
Yes, so from this image, it would be towards your top left, off to the left.
Have you been to this location?
Yes.
From that intersection, are you able to see this location?
No.
Are you able to see the entryway?
You can see the entryway to the parking lot. You can't see the entry to the front door.
At 428, 1 minute later, can you describe for us why it is that at 427 the entourage is driving through and then at 428 the entourage is parking?
They did a little bit of driving around, specifically Tafa McRae's vehicle seems to go around the parking lot a little bit, and then they readjust under the canopy there.
Are there more than one hotel entrances and awnings in this parking lot alone? Like, are there multiple hotels?
Yes.
Okay. And separate parking lots, but they're all connected?
Correct.
Okay. At some point, does Charles Jones actually exit the vehicle and go inside of the hotel?
Yes, he does.
Is that at 4:30 a.m.?
Yes.
Are you able to capture on a camera at the back parking lot the black Chevy Impala actually arriving to the Home to Suites lot?
Yes.
22A.
It's the black Impala arriving at 4:34.
Are there several camera angles of that black Chevy Impala arriving to the parking lot?
Yes.
And are you able to also identify the silver Chevy Cruze as arriving as well?
Approximately 3 minutes later.
At 4:37, does that silver Cruze pass the victim and his entourage?
Yes.
And so what side of the vehicle would the entourage and the victim be on as this Cruze passes them for the first time?
On the passenger side of the silver Cruze.
So coming into the home to suites the same direction that Charles Jones and the entourage came in.
Correct.
And then ultimately, do you see this silver Chevy Cruze interact in some way or come into contact with that black Impala?
Yeah, they travel in tandem in front of the Tesla on the west side of the vehicle. The black Impala parks and the Cruze makes a U-turn to come back out.
Looking first to the black Impala from your state's 22, is this the black Impala as it arrived and came up to that corner?
Yes, this is as it arrives on the west side of the building. So I had driven through the whole parking lot, and now it's on the west side, making a kind of a three-point U-turn here.
Had the black Impala actually continued driving forward in the path of travel and turned left, how would it have been positioned against the victim's entourage?
If this black Impala continues to the left and doesn't make this U-turn, it would come directly in the line of sight of where the victim was facing and parked under the overhang.
Now, when we look at this video from the Impala after it makes the U-turn, does it actually go any further than just on the other side of this white van, at least at first?
It stops to wait here for a bit.
Are you able to identify light here from the headlights of that vehicle?
Correct.
At 3:37 and 26 seconds, are you able to see additional activity on this camera related to the Impala on the other side of the van?
Yes, the silver Cruze arriving behind the Impala, and the Impala starts moving as the silver Cruze arrives.
Does the Impala ultimately park at the top of our screen?
Yes, the top center of the screen, above the van, below the pillar, we can see the tail lights and the back Impala backing into a parking spot.
Now, what about down here? Was there anything of relevance that we were able to get from the Tesla camera from the Cruze?
Yeah, the Cruze is making a three-point U-turn to come back towards the victim.
And is this the silver car that just made a U-turn?
Yes.
Now, if that silver car turns left, do they come into contact with the victim and his entourage?
They're going to pass the victim for a second time. This time the victim's going to be on the driver's side of the Cruze.
So this is 4:37:26, and then at 4:38:05, has that U-turn been completed by the silver Chevy Cruze, and it is now going towards the exit?
Correct.
Before that silver Chevy Cruze exits the parking lot, is it at that stop there,
Yes.
bar for the exit of the home to suites?
Yeah, with the tail lights engaged, yes.
Did you document when it actually exited?
Yes.
And at this time, was the Impala fully parked?
Yes.
I apologize. Let's start here. Sorry about that. Were you able to document the occupants of the vehicle actually exiting the vehicle on the Tesla cam?
Yes.
Is that at 4:38:36?
Correct.
And the Cruze departure at 4:38:05 would have just been maybe 30 or so seconds before that.
Correct.
The individual at the back of the Tesla, so the back Tesla cameras, is that what's being depicted here in 59 on the right of shooter number 3 as you previously identified?
Yeah, correct. So the image on the right is from the driver's side rear view mirror pointing backwards towards the fence line. And so this is this shooter would be traveling along the rear of the Tesla along the fence line, yes.
And were you able to document those individuals actually exiting the vehicle by zooming that video in?
Yes, when you focus in and zoom in, you can see that the 3 occupants come from the exact vicinity of where that black Impala backed into.
Now, the one individual along the fence line, is that what's depicted by the circle in the image underneath it?
Correct. So the image bottom left is the circle in the top left.
And the right of the screen and the individuals depicted down here?
Correct.
This is home to suites footage, but utilizing the Tesla images as well, is that correct?
Yes.
Does the shooting then ultimately start after those individuals had exited the Impala and come towards where the victim was located?
Yes.
Is that what's here in this little clip? So if we look at the top of the screen, behind the Tesla up here, are you able to tell me if that's the individual that you referenced before as going behind the Tesla?
Yes, so you can see in this clip the third shooter there along the fence line on the north going towards the left. Once he gets off view here, it's going to be directly in front of line of sight of the victim, and then the shooting begins.
And can you tell me the same about the top right of the image here and the exit of the vehicle of two individuals?
Yes, so the shooter number one and shooter number two, top right here in between the top of the van and the pillar, you can see them coming from the Impala and crossing the front of the Tesla headed towards the victim.
Now, were you able to take still images at 4:38:57 as the shooting begins in front of the victim vehicle?
Yes.
And is that what's depicted here?
Yes, so on the left side of the screen, we see shooter number one coming into view of this camera, starting to raise his pistol. And then on the right side of the screen, we can see that same shooter now having the pistol leveled off towards the victim's vehicle, in front of the victim's vehicle, and the muzzle flash of that pistol coinciding with the first impact strike on the windshield of the victim's vehicle.
Is the impact strike documented here on the black Charger in the center of the windshield?
Correct.
In this camera angle from 139 between 4:38 a.m. and 4:39 a.m., are these images of another shooter?
Yes, so on the left side of the screen, we see shooter number two, the lighter-skinned gentleman with the dark blue hoodie, all the way on the left of the screen. And then on the right side of the screen, this image has that same shooter at the bottom left of it, and then shooter number three with the orange ski mask at the top right in between the yellow Jeep and that other darker colored SUV. You can see muzzle flash coming from his rifle.
Are you able to identify shooter number three during or before the shooting, as well in between those two vehicles in the image on the left, please?
Yes, I'm sorry. On the image to the left, you can see him in the top right in between the yellow SUV and the dark colored SUV. You just can't see the muzzle flash yet from his rifle.
Are you able to track shooter number two and shooter number three through the video itself?
Yes.
And whose vehicle is this on the other side of shooter number two at between 4:38 and 4:39?
So on the image on the left, where you can see shooter number two and shooter number three at the top there, in between them is the tail lights of the victim's black Dodge Charger as it's trying to drive away from the gunfire.
And the timestamps up here have already been adjusted from the error that was on the video?
Correct.
And lastly, shooter three at the rear of the Tesla itself, is that what we're seeing in 59?
Yes.
And what is happening in image number one on the left of 59?
Shooter number three, as he's working his way back towards the Impala, is still shooting at the victim's vehicle, and that's muzzle flash you see from his rifle.
Can I have you bear with me while I go back to a slide that I realized was out of order?
Sure.
Can you see the screen before you?
Yes.
Were you able to capture footage from after the shooting takes place in the seconds after the victim vehicle drives off?
Correct.
Is that the same vantage point that we saw exiting the Impala and shooter number three running behind the Tesla?
Correct.
Does shooter number one jump over this little gate line at the right side of your screen?
Yeah, so shooter number one at the bottom of the screen runs through the patio, and then at the top right of that screen, he jumps the fence line to go west towards the Impala.
Do you get to see the victim vehicle pass by in this frame?
Yes, that's to the left of the image there. That's the victim's black Dodge Charger being driven by Xavier Edwards speeding northbound through the parking lot.
Now I don't know why I'm doing that, I apologize. Now do you have an opportunity to also capture shooter number two running back or returning back to the vehicle?
Yes.
Is that what's depicted on this image on the left?
Correct. So where it's frozen right now, on the left side of the screen, we see shooter number two running northbound through the parking lot on the passenger side of the white van, working his way back towards the Impala.
And ultimately, do you have an opportunity to see additional shots from shooter number three in this footage?
Yes. Shooter number three comes into a visual top left along the fence line, and you can see his muzzle flash still firing in the direction of the where the victim's Dodge Charger drove.
And are you talking about at the top of the image on the left-hand side?
Correct.
Was that footage also captured at the back of the Tesla as we just saw?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Right. Then there's some kind of response by law enforcement. Based on your interviews with the Robert Howard, Armani Turner, the individuals that are left at the scene when you actually arrived, were you able to determine that they left and made contact with law enforcement?
Yeah, so after the shooting, Armani Turner's vehicle goes northbound on McKinley and then comes onto Fowler, makes a right, and then they find a USF PD officer who's doing a traffic stop on Fowler and try to wave him down to come follow them back to the scene to get help for Mr. Jones.
Is this at 146 a part of that footage?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to see Mr. Howard and what he was wearing that evening?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to see him in this video exit the vehicle just in front of the officers as well and walk up to the victim vehicle?
Yes. Dead center in the image, you can see the white T-shirt of Mr. Robert Howard. It came out of Armani Turner's vehicle and walks towards Mr. Jones's black Charger.
And this response, or at least arrival time, is 4:44 to 4:45?
Correct.
Does law enforcement ultimately make contact with Gino and Norris and Xavier Edwards inside of the hotel itself on the third floor?
Yes, these two gentlemen had exited the victim's Charger and they ran into the Holiday Inn, made it all the way up to the third floor where law enforcement found them.
Based on the call notes that you had reviewed, was that approximately 4:48 a.m.?
Correct.
And do you have information or data collected to determine when the cell phones of the individuals depicted here returned back to the Airbnb?
Yes.
What is that?
So Isaiah Chance's and Alicia Andrews' device arrived back in the vicinity of the Airbnb that they're staying at approximately 4:53. Approximately 2 minutes later, Sean Gathright device also arrives back at the Airbnb that they were staying at.
Were, based on the video footage that you had reviewed, Sean Gathright in a separate vehicle from Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews?
Correct.
And did you also have an opportunity thereafter to review again the content of the iCloud return from Davion Murphy and the Instagram return from Rashad Murphy?
Correct.
In reviewing the iCloud return for Davion Murphy at 4:56 a.m., is there a search on that device?
Yes.
Just after the return to the Airbnb of the other devices?
Yeah, this is approximately 1 or 2 minutes after Gathright arrives back at the Airbnb that Mr. Davion Murphy's iCloud, or from his iCloud, we can see that he's doing an internet search for Tom Brady, Bill Belichick image.
Were there images saved from Davion Murphy's device of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
Yes.
Did those images have any kind of tags on them, or were these specifically saved with the data from the downloads from YouTube, or from the internet?
Yeah, so on Davion Murphy's iCloud extraction, we could just see the images that he searched on the internet and then saved to his device. They weren't yet tagged or posted to social media.
And that's 4:56 a.m.?
Correct.
By 5 o'clock a.m., is this a post from the return on Rashad Murphy's device?
Yes. Instagram. Rashad Murphy's Instagram.
At 7, let's start with his Instagram. Let's start with Rashad Murphy if we can. At 7:52 a.m. on the same date, is there a search for the victim's account?
Yes.
Going back to the early morning hours post, was there also a post of the same image saved to Davion Murphy's iCloud account, posted to the story of Rashad Murphy?
Correct.
And at what time was that?
That was posted on Rashad Murphy's Instagram account at 8:10 a.m.
Was that posted with music, or was it just a singular photo?
I believe this was a part of a music video, yes, or audio.
But just the still image that
I'm
had
sorry,
been,
just the still image of it, correct, with a location of 22nd added to it.
and that's 8:10 a.m.?
Correct.
Are there several other posts from the device of Rashad Murphy in the hours thereafter?
Yes.
On 6:23 at 8:18 a.m., what are we seeing on the left?
This is an image of the gentleman by the name of Corbin putting up middle fingers with the word mood on it, posted at 8:18 from Rashad Murphy's Instagram. And then at 10:52 a.m., another post, an Art of War quote from Rashad Murphy's Instagram account.
Had you had an opportunity to review the victim Charles Jones' social media songs?
Yes.
Had the victim made several reference to the death of Corbin Johnson?
Yes.
In State's Exhibit 88C on the right, what did the art of war quote actually indicate?
If your opponent is of choleric temper, seek to irritate him. Pretend to be weak that he may grow arrogant.
At 12:14 p.m. on that same date, had this same Instagram account posted a post referencing a Prosper and Junior G Day?
Yes, at 12:14 p.m. on the 23rd, Rashad Murphy's Instagram posts this black screen on the left there with the white words Prosper and JR G Day today, quotations 187 babies.
Had you learned that the individuals Prosper and JR were individuals killed on the same day together?
Yes.
And had those individuals been killed by someone related to the case from the victim's side?
Those two individuals were killed by Gino Norris's father, Gino Norris Sr.
Had that shooting been determined to be justified?
Yes, Gino Norris Sr. wasn't charged. It was deemed to be a justified killing.
And the reference to 187 babies, had you known what that meant?
Yes.
What was that?
187 is a reference to the precursor to 1200 gang, and the 187 babies was a reference to those two being very young when they were killed.
Was there a post at 12:27 p.m. as well?
Yes.
What did that indicate?
Black screen with the white words, hate me kindly.
When you actually completed the screen recording from Rashad Murphy's Ghost 187 account, the Prosper and Junior G Day Today 187 babies recording, it was not present between the art of war and the hate me kindly. What does that indicate to you?
Overall, you can answer if you know.
The screen recording, was obtained by Christopher Draybeck.
Had you had an opportunity to review it?
Yes.
Was that slide missing?
Yes.
And what does that indicate to you?
It was deleted.
The art of war and hate me kindly posts were still included, though, in that screen recording, correct?
Correct.
Next, from that same account, was there a post? The 1214 story was removed. I was only going to point out to you, but
Yeah.
you can see that here. In 110, without utilizing the audio, the mood photograph is still present. Is that correct?
Yeah, so what we can see here on the right is a screen recording that Christopher Draybeck took of Rashad Murphy's Instagram account that morning, and all of the posts in the return were in there except for the Prosper and Junior G Day. That was posted to the account and publicly visible, but then it was deleted. But however, I got it back on the return.
In the following mornings, were there additional posts to Rashad Murphy's Instagram account?
Yes.
Who's the individual depicted that was posted at 10:12 a.m., if you know?
Somebody from the Jacksonville War. I'm not sure which one.
And was there another post about 187 or 187 boys and an RIP at 10:45 a.m. to the same account?
Correct. 187 boys, 5L. Rest in peace, them members.
At 6:34 on the same date, did you recognize the Instagram post that had been posted by Rashad Murphy?
Yeah, so the left here we have a song "Psyching Out" by Dot Breezy, and then on the right another song by Wappa with the Choppa.
Dot Breezy, how is he related to your case or investigation?
Dot Breezy is a prominent rapper for 1200 gang, with a rival gang to Mr. Jones. He's also the gentleman that sent Isaiah Chance $390 before Isaiah Chance used that money to book the Airbnb that the defendants would stay at.
And Wappa with the Choppa and his Gravedigger song, is this the song that was released after the incident from Wappa with the Choppa regarding the victim, or was there another song?
I know that Wappa and Spinna released Foolio Dead sometime after the murder. I'm not sure when Gravedigger was released.
Did you also have an opportunity to document the Instagram stories that were posted after the time of the homicide from Isaiah Chance's Instagram account?
Correct.
Showing you first 87C11. Is this a post posted at 6:13 a.m.?
Yes, 6:13 a.m., so approximately an hour and 20 minutes after the murder. Isaiah Chance's Instagram account, Gutta Zay, posts this picture of Bill Belichick with the two hands emoji, bottom right there.
87C12, was this at 6:32 a.m., another post?
Yes, specifically an image of Little Durk, a prominent rapper, at 6:32.
Did this include a video or a still image?
Yes.
Which one?
I'm sorry, this is a video, 8-second long video.
And was this another post that morning, 6:29 a.m. to Mr. Chance's account?
Yes, this was another 13-second video of rap lyrics to a Dot Breezy song. It's frozen in on run down on a P word, N word, like what you gonna say about my dog.
Had Isaiah Chance's account been posting about someone named Antonio Tilly or Tilly?
Yes.
Is that someone who has died in this war back and forth?
Yes, specifically October 6, 2023, before the attempt on Mr. Jones on October 7th.
And had Isaiah Chance also made posts or worn jewelry in reference to a 23 in his posts?
Yes.
Did that relate back to also someone lost in this war?
Yeah, 23 was killed in a car when Ace, the town center shooting, 2018, I think it was.
At 8:58, is there another post by Isaiah Chance?
Yes.
At this time, are the devices still at the Airbnb?
Yes, they are.
How about at 2:55 on the 27th? Are you able to document a post about Tilly from Mr. Chance?
Yes, Mr. Chance's account, black screen, I love Tilly, I miss Tilly. This is at 2:55 p.m. as they're getting ready to leave the Airbnb to head back towards Jacksonville.
How about another screen grab from a Will Go Crazy account?
Yes.
Were you familiar with the shooting death of Spaz in Jacksonville, or did you learn of that throughout the course of your investigation?
I learned a bit.
Was there a Willie Royal also present during that altercation that was shot by Robert Howard?
Yes.
Was Will Go Crazy account linked to Willie Royal?
Yes.
And at 10:29 a.m., did Isaiah Chance repost a post by Will Go Crazy, if it ain't Don Julio, don't pass me no bottle?
Correct.
How about on the 23rd again at 10:31 a.m.? Was there a post regarding Antonio Tilly? I'm sorry. Was there a post regarding Antonio Tilly at 10:31 a.m. on the morning of the homicide?
Yes. In this image from Isaiah Chance's Instagram, we can see Isaiah Chance to the right with his face covered up by a ghost emoji, and then in the center of the picture, we can see Antonio Tilly giving the middle finger.
Were there some edits to this photograph and this photograph reposted minutes later?
Yes.
Is that what's depicted in C-17?
Yes, this is a repost. Now it says, I miss my joking and laughing buddy with a teddy bear at the bottom of it.
At 11:31 a.m., was there an image which you are actually able to link to the location of the Airbnb?
Yes.
The other photographs that were taken, are you able to tell from the stories themselves when they were taken? So, for example, this image of Antonio Tilly, he would have been deceased at the time of this murder, correct?
Yeah, this image is older because Antonio's been dead for months now at this point.
The context of the photographs, though, and looking at the post from 11:31 a.m., were you able to look at surrounding circumstances to determine whether that was taken on the day of our offense?
Yes.
And what were those circumstances?
Specifically the ground and some of the shrubbery materials on the ground, and then the clothing as well.
A few minutes later, does Mr. Chance make a post at 11:37 a.m. regarding or wearing a hat?
Yes.
Was that a video also?
Yes.
What did the hat say?
I love my girlfriend.
To your knowledge, did anyone else bring their girlfriend along with them to Tampa to the Airbnb?
No, just Isaiah Chance.
Was that Miss Andrews?
Yes.
Does Mr. Chance, before the vehicle actually leaves the Airbnb at 2:56 p.m. on the day of the homicide, make another post?
Yes.
And is that what's depicted in C20, 87 C20?
Correct. This is another still image from a video containing music lyrics, but what we can see in this image is, again, the white pants and white shoes and that glass, champagne flute or wine glass in between his 2 feet.
Did you have an opportunity to compare that with the Ring video?
Yes, it appears to be the same glass.
In 61B3, is that what's depicted here? Mr. Chance actually exiting the Airbnb at 2:09 p.m.?
Correct.
And the image that was posted to his account would have been at 2:56 p.m.?
Correct.
Was there some significance about the Airbnb videos regarding Davian Murphy?
Yes.
In 61A, what was that significance?
Here we can see Davian Murphy coming into view of the camera. However, he didn't come out of the front door. It appears he's coming from the back.
Is this the first time that you saw him depicted on that Ring video?
Yes.
Does Davian Murphy actually re-enter the Airbnb through the front door at this time?
Yes, he does.
And are you on 61A able to capture the audio as Mr. Chance? So that was at 3:01:55. Were you actually able to capture the audio as Mr. Isaiah Chance re-enters the Airbnb?
Yeah, so after Davion Murphy went inside and passed the camera, we can hear Isaiah Chance say something here. Why does he keep going out there?
At this point, had Mr. Davion Murphy just gone out and come back into the residence?
Yes.
At any other point, did you see Mr. Davion Murphy or Mr. Rashad Murphy on the Ring camera?
No.
And then ultimately, at the end of the Airbnb return, is there one individual depicted as returning to the Airbnb?
Yes.
Who was that individual?
Sean Gathright?
And is that what's depicted on the screen before you?
Yes.
What information was relevant to Mr. Gaithright's return to the Airbnb?
Sean Gathright was attempting to get back in the Airbnb after the first three left, and he needed the code to get in. So you can hear him on the phone asking someone for the code, and that person responding back what the code is.
The code is, hold on. Yeah. The code is 0925.
What, if any, relevance did the entry of the code have to the case of your investigation of 0925?
0925 is the last four of the phone number for Rashad Murphy, which was 904-386-0925.
Does Mr. Gathright then leave at 3:13 p.m.?
Correct.
Are you able to tell us what we're looking at in 130, please?
Yes, this is a still image from Young and Ace's song "Do It." It was uploaded onto YouTube on the day of the murder, 6:23, approximately 6 p.m.-ish in that time frame.
Did that music video refer to Young and Ace's little duets?
Correct.
And, Your Honor, at this time, the state seeks to admit State's Exhibits 131A through E and 132A and B.
All right, any new objections? Mr. Gonzalez,
No new objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Sinardi, Mr. Wise, and Mr. Petridis. Okay, be admitted.
Were there additional music videos that were posted after the offense date in this particular case that were of relevance to your investigation?
Yes.
And did you document those music videos as well?
Yes.
Before we get to those, can we talk a little bit about the return from Sean Gathright's device from after the date of the homicide itself? The Do It video, first of all, was posted on what day?
So the Do It video was posted on June 23rd, so the Sunday of the murder, approximately 6 p.m.
On the 23rd, did you have a return from Sean Gathright's device which referenced a music video from Young and Ace?
Yes, so this is a screenshot that was taken from Sean Gathwright's iCloud download, and what we can see in this screenshot is the timestamp at the top says 7:40, so approximately an hour and 40 minutes after Ace's Do It song came out. He screenshots a Reddit post in the Duval County thread, "Let Ace's new song marinate."
And what did it say underneath that?
You know how it be with this N-word. Everyone says his songs are ass. Then a day later, everyone be glazing it. He snapped, though.
Were you able to also obtain additional extractions from the date of June 23rd of 2024 through June 24th of 2024 from Sean Gathright's device?
Yes.
Where was the device based on the cell site information that you had?
So based off of the location cell site data, we know that Sean Gathwright's device traveled post-murder first to Polk County, to his grandmother's house, and then to Orlando in the area of a nightclub called Parlay.
Were there some photographs which confirmed Sean Gathright's presence along with his sister and love interest, the Kyla Enright and Nevaeh Gathright?
Yes, at this point in the evening on Sunday, it appears that Sean Gathright had united with Nevaeh and Kyla at the club, and there was still images and videos in Sean Gathwright's download.
Relevant to your investigation, were there several videos from the time frame of Mr. Gathright present in the club?
Yes.
Was Mr. Gathright depicted in those videos, and were there bottles depicted in those videos?
Yes.
And is that what's depicted here in 94D1?
Yes, specifically here we can see the Don Julio bottles.
Is Is the music relevant on any of these, or may I mute them? Is it just music in the club?
No, yeah, you could just mute them. I think it's just general music. I don't think they're playing any A songs.
94D1, did that depict bottles inside of this parlay club?
Yes.
And
good
did the
time.
location information from the device also put Mr. Gathright at that location?
Correct.
Is there a separate video in 94D2?
Yes.
To your knowledge, other than himself and Don Julio bottles, were there any other videos during this time?
No.
And how about the video depicted in 94D3 or the still in 94D6? Do those come from the device of Sean Gathright from his time at this parlay club?
Correct.
Was the video or the image depicted in 94D6 from the video that's skipping in 94D3?
Yeah, that's a still image on the left from the video on the right where Sean Gathright throws up that sign there.
About 94D4, was that a photograph on Sean Gathwight's device?
Yes, still at the same club. You can actually see in the image on the left, on the top left, you can see the name to the club, Parlay.
And are these the indicators that you had referenced to us or mentioned to us before that you're using to confirm the location information, photographs, messaging, et cetera, for where the person or the device are?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to go through Mr. Davian Murphy's account beyond the Bill Belichick searches?
Yes.
And did you locate this item on the 24th on Mr. Murphy's account?
Yes.
Can you read to us what Mr. Murphy posted on that day?
Thanks to everyone for all the congratulations. To everybody else, stay in your lane. Again, happy G-Day. Corbin, I love you, my N-word. LL Shug, long live Shug, long live Spass, long live Leaky, long live Gunake.
Are those individuals, after the long live, all individuals that you were able to work with Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to determine were no longer with us?
Yeah, these are all members who have died in the war.
Showing you now 131B. What is it that we're looking at?
This is a still image from Dot Breezy's song Psyching Out.
When was this video actually posted to YouTube?
The day after the murder, June 24th.
During the course of your investigation, did you have an opportunity to review these videos themselves?
Yes.
And does Mr. Breezy, Dot Breezy, make reference to the homicide of Charles Jones?
Yes, he does.
Does he make reference to being physically involved or financially involved?
Specifically, he uses this murder shit I sponsor. He's indicating he financially sponsors the murder.
Were you able to obtain an extraction and what's already in evidence from YouTube as well with the certified information of the posting of these videos?
Yes.
Is this Mr. Breezy in the center of the photograph?
Yes.
Was there another individual depicted in the video with Mr. Breezy?
I believe that's either WAPA or Spinabenz. I can't tell, but one of them.
And was that individual with Dot Breezy for the entirety of the video?
Yes.
Did Rashad Murphy's Instagram account also include this Dot Breezy video as well?
Yes, it did.
On the day that it was posted?
Correct.
And again, the Wappa with the Choppa Gravedigger video, was that a part of the return for Rashad Murphy's Instagram account as well?
Yes.
From the physical device extraction for Rashad Murphy, was there a still or selfie image that was depicted on June 25th?
Yes.
And was that image what's depicted in 101R?
Yes, this is an image from the extraction of Rashad Murphy's physical device. Appears to be a selfie of himself.
And lastly, did the rapper Young and Ace publish a song on June 28th of 2024?
Game over.
Did that song make specific references to the homicide in this case?
Very specific.
What do you mean by that?
The lyrics at 5 a.m. I got the call. Who's this? The murder happened at 4:40, so he's indicating within 20 minutes he's getting the news or getting a call. 4 of them I hit. 3 of them I hit. 1 of them dead. So 4 people were hit in this murder. 3 of them survived. 1 of them died. So there were very specific lyrics to our murder.
Does Young and Ace also make specific reference to the war in Jacksonville and people who have been lost?
Yes.
All right, Detective. Lastly, the call detail and timing advance records. We, as we've talked about your testimony here, I've talked about where the devices were. So I'm going to need you to tell me the difference between call detail records and timing advance records, if you could.
Sure. So call detail records, again, are the logs of whenever you attempt calls or text messages through your cell phone provider's network. And we get call detail records. We can get them with or without cell site. When they come with cell site, which is what we got in this case, it's going to indicate the date and time that a call or text was attempted or connected, and then it's also going to have the cell tower that cell phone's utilizing, so we'll know a general location of where that device is at during those call or text message attempts. Timing advance is a separate set of data. Timing advance is even more accurate in the sense of it's tracking not the cell tower itself that it's pinging off of, but giving an estimate location to where the device itself is at, providing GPS locations for the device. And timing advance measures, it's data that the cell phone providers keep to measure the distance between the tower and the device, and they're constantly pinging back and forth. The cell phone providers use that data for their own proprietary reasons.
The data from timing advance, is that more precise and kept for a shorter amount of time based on the volume?
Correct.
I'm going to show you just this demonstrative of what you've described for us. So if we're looking at timing advance in the image on the left, at the end of the arrow, if that's the device on the image on the left, the ping is directly from the tower to the phone?
Yes.
And that's back and forth between tower and phone, tower and phone?
Correct.
Do you get timing advance on everything, on every phone?
No.
Is it provider dependent?
Correct.
And do you get timing advance for all of the defendants in this case?
No, specifically Davion Murphy's device. So timing advance, it's very high volume, a lot of data, and it's kept a lot shorter of a period. So by the time we got to Davion's data extraction from the cell phone provider, they actually just had a large gap missing, and it's just missing from the data.
What about the other defendants?
Yeah, we got timing advance for Sean Gathright, Alicia Andrews were the two most active, and then some for Isaiah Chance as well.
Did you have reason to believe that Rashad Murphy had a physical cell phone device, or the one that we've looked at the physical extraction records from? Was that phone in Tampa?
So we got timing advance for that phone as well, and we were able to prove from the timing advance that that phone never left Jacksonville. Rashad Murphy left that phone in Jacksonville at his house.
Did you have an opportunity to review the events which occurred, or like the device info for the events that occurred on that device?
Yes.
Was the activity from June 22nd through June 23rd consistent with the activity that had occurred on that device prior to that time frame?
I'm
By
sorry.
way of volume?
No.
What was happening on that device at that time frame, basically?
Barely being utilized.
What were there two messages of a photo that were sent from that device while that device was still in Jacksonville?
Yes.
Were those two screenshots that we've already seen here today of Gadaze's contact?
Correct, yes.
Beyond that, was there significant device activity?
No.
Was there any activity that was recorded in the cell site?
There was, but it wasn't, it did stay at Rashad's house.
Were there phone calls or additional text messages or things like that
Some.
that were recorded?
Yes. There was some communication between Rashad's device and Davion's device during the time that Davion's device was in Tampa, yes.
And was that depicted on about 12 or 13 incidents of powering the phone on?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review the interview of Rashad Murphy?
Yes.
And did Rashad Murphy give a statement that he, in fact, did not have a device in Tampa?
Correct.
And that he utilized another individual's device?
Yeah, he claimed to use Fizzle's, Darius Beal's device.
And based on the cell mapping that we had reviewed in the beginning of your testimony yesterday, had Darius Beal's device actually come to Tampa like Mr. Murphy said?
Not only did Darius Beal's device not come into Tampa, we got a full extraction of all of his calls, and Rashad Murphy's phone number is never stored in Fizzle's phone or utilized for any text messaging or calling, his or Davion's.
Did you utilize the returns that you had from the cell phone companies to create cell phone mapping composites in this case?
Yes, I did.
At this time, Your Honor, the state seeks to admit 150A through D and 77.
Okay, any new objection, Mr. Gonzalez?
Give me one moment, Your Honor, please.
Sure.
I'm sorry, 150 A through D?
Yes.
77 and 77, I believe.
I'm sorry?
This one. Yes, 77 is the exhibit, the PowerPoint from before, for everyone, cell phone mapping and PowerPoint. For everyone.
Judge, no new objections on behalf of Rashad Murphy to 77 and 150.
Hey, Mr. Sonardi,
No new objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Wise, Mr. Petridis, okay, admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And the image on the right of our screen, is that more indicative of the sectors that you talked to us about?
Yes, each tower has 3 sectors on them, yes. This just shows one of the sectors being illuminated, where the device would be.
And those sectors, is that what you've just described to us as the location of the device having been within there or utilizing that tower?
Correct.
So timing advance is a little more specific because it's to the phone itself.
Yes, call detail records are to the tower sector, and then timing advances to the phone itself.
Yep.
Detective, in this particular case, when you received the returns from the cell phone companies, the timing advance and the call detail records, did you yourself utilize those returns to create some cell phone mapping?
Yes, I did.
What happens when you get those returns, and what do you do with that information?
So when I receive the returns, they come basically in raw data files, PDFs or Excel sheets with lines for every single information registration as far as the location, time, date, all of that. What I did is I upload those files into a program called CellHawk, and then CellHawk is going to utilize the information off those files to map it out in a visual representation. Allows me to see visually, specifically, what towers are being engaged and where this phone's approximate location is at.
Are you trained to do that through your agency?
Yes, I myself have been trained. I do it myself, and I also consult with our agency experts as well.
In this particular case, did you have an opportunity to also consult with the agency experts on the cell phone mapping and timing advance records?
Yes, I consulted with Sergeant Van Heist, who is our agency expert, and he assisted me as well, yes.
After utilizing the application of CellSite to enter the information that's received from those cell phone companies, did you also confirm or correlate the locations on the maps created with physical evidence as well?
Yes, we were able to corroborate a lot of the locations where the data saying the phone is at with video that's showing those people and those devices there, yes.
Does the court wish for me to tender the witness?
Okay, does anyone have any questions, voir dire at this point, just on the witness qualifications? Okay.
Briefly, Your Honor. Have you had any person training while working at HCSO that relates to cell phone data?
I'm sorry, HCSO?
Yes.
TPD.
The TPD, I apologize, TPD.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so basically when you get to a new unit, there's almost like a field training type situation where I'm working with the senior detectives and they're teaching me. And not only was I trained by senior detectives who have spent many years working with this cell data, I was also trained and assisted by our agency expert, Gregory Van Heist.
And I know that you had noted that Sergeant Van Heist is the agency expert. Is his training any different than the training you would receive from TPD?
I believe he's gone to advanced courses that are in reference to this topic, yes.
Are those courses optional or mandatory to be qualified as an expert in TPD as it relates to cell phone data?
They're optional for detectives. You don't have to go to a course in order to interpret this data. It could be taught to you to utilize it with CellHawk. Those courses are optional typically for most detectives.
Do you know how many courses you've taken thus far
In reference to any topic?
in reference to cell phone data?
Oh, in reference to cell phone data, a couple online courses.
approximation? Is it more or less than 5?
That 2, to be specific.
How long are those courses?
Anywhere from 3 hours to 8 hours kind of deal.
And is that standard for all CPD officers?
No, nothing standard. It's based off of what you're doing in your mission. So in my specific mission, because homicides involve cell phone records, I will get training from senior detectives, consult with the expert, do the online courses. Not every officer is doing what I'm doing because they're not utilizing this information in their everyday investigations like I am.
And you stated you had consulted with Sergeant Van Heisen, is correct?
Yes, I did.
Did he draft an opinion as to the data for this specific case?
He verified that it was properly loaded and it was accurately being represented at Cell Hawk the way we represented it.
Have you ever been qualified to offer an opinion to the court as it relates to cell phone data as an expert?
As an expert, no.
I don't have any other questions on behalf of Davion.
Pardon me?
I don't have any other questions on behalf of Davion.
Okay, very good. You may proceed.
Detective, did you take those data files that were provided from the cell phone company and enter them into the CellHawk program?
Yes.
And I believe you just indicated that you also had some kind of confirmation from Detective Van Heist after those uploads were complete and the data was returned with mapping.
Yes.
Does that mapping look visual? Like, can you actually see a map and see activity on those maps?
Correct.
I am showing you State's Exhibit number 77. Are these the maps that you created by entering the data that was returned from those cell phone companies for the defendants in this case, for which you had timing advance records or call detail records?
Yes.
Starting first with Ms. Andrews' device, can you tell us what we're looking at?
So what we're looking at here for Alicia Andrews' device is the visual representation that CellHawk is going to create once you input the raw data files into it. And what you'll see is several indicators here. The boxes indicate sort of the range that's restricting where the phone moves throughout that time period. And then the actual hits are registered by brown dots along with time periods in the center of the screen there. So that's where the device is actually pinging to.
And just like we saw in the Beals extraction, was there an actual visual which included the time frame of the murder that you were able to enter that data into the program?
Yes.
And did it depict the device locations during that time?
Yes.
Publishing. The device themselves, are those each the pings?
Yes, this is timing advance Saturday, approximately 3:50, goes near Sean Gathrights' house.
Does that device ultimately make its way south towards Tampa?
Yes, by 5 p.m. it's well en route southbound towards Tampa.
And again, each one of the timestamps that pops up are the little pings or connections.
Correct.
And on this map, did you also include the areas of importance with red tags?
Yeah, all the red tags there, relevant locations to this murder.
Did the map for Miss Andrews encompass the time frame of the murder as well?
Yes.
And are you able to increase the time frames that each of the pings actually occur?
Yes, so we're speeding it up a little bit.
Were the pings of the time frames that Miss Andrews was depicted at the Airbnb consistent with her being present at the Airbnb?
Yes.
Did that device move consistent with the video footage that you had from the McDonald's?
Correct.
From the Teasers?
Yep.
How about to Truth 18?
Yes, eventually it works its way to Truth 18.
Is that what's depicted here?
Yes.
And finally, to the scene of the homicide?
Yes,
Does that phone travel south before returning to the Airbnb a few moments after the homicide?
it does.
Did you cross-reference that information for when the device returned to the Airbnb?
Yes.
And were you able to confirm that device departing the Airbnb on the afternoon of June 23rd?
Yes,
Was that confirmed by the video from the Ring camera?
it is.
Did that device ultimately return to Jacksonville?
Yes, it does.
And did that device ping consistently with the statements from the Uber driver that you had interviewed?
Correct.
Are the pings also consistent with the footage that was obtained from Sean Gathraight's residence
Yes,
and Miss Andrews being present on that camera?
correct.
Did you specifically, as to each location after this summary, cross-reference the timestamps from the actual returns depicted on the right
Yes,
to the video footage or video evidence that you were able to collect in this case?
correct.
First, starting with the Airbnb, as that was depicted here, at 7:55 p.m. on June 22nd.
Yeah, so this, on the right, you can see the sector of the tower and the timing advance circle. It's placing it in the vicinity of the Airbnb at 7:55 p.m. At that same time, we can see Alicia Andrews at the Ring, 7:55 p.m., holding a device that is believed to be the device that's giving this data for its location.
Now, this PowerPoint, this section of the PowerPoint itself, this cell phone mapping is an actual exhibit. So if we paused, you know, the footage that we've just viewed, the video, this active part, is that what we're looking at if we pause it at this exact minute on that video on the screen on the right?
Correct. So as you play that video, if you were to pause in at exactly 7:55:06, this is the image you would see in that video on the right-hand side of the screen right now.
And is that as it's captured for the remainder of this exhibit?
Correct.
Were you able to confirm that the Andrews device was present at the McDonald's location?
Yes. So top right there, you can see the device in the vicinity of the McDonald's around the same time that you can see Miss Andrews arriving in the Silver Cruise at the McDonald's.
In this particular case, is there some more specificity inside of the sector?
Yes, you have the sector and you have timing advance circle.
And is that what's represented here with a circle, a line, and an ultimate dot?
Yes.
Did you have an opportunity to review the McDonald's video?
Yes.
And did you have an opportunity to confirm Ms. Andrews is an occupant of this silver Chevy Cruze?
Front right seat passenger, yes.
How about moving to the Teasers nightclub and the parking lot?
Yes.
Tell us what we're looking at.
So what we're seeing here on the left, again, is another still shot of the cell site data. You get the sector and the timing advance. It places Alicia Andrews' device in the vicinity of Teasers Club at that same time, 2:31, or in the general time frame of 2:31. We know that Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews are seen on camera at the same Teasers and getting into their car, getting ready to leave.
Did you, in addition to comparing the images from the Teasers, compare the cell site information to the LPR reader returns that you had?
Yes.
In this next image, is that what we're seeing here?
Yes. So what we're seeing on the left is the cell site information, putting it in the vicinity of Hillsborough and 15th. So Hillsborough runs east to west, left to right on this photo, and 15th in the center of the photo runs north and south. You can see the dot, the line shooting out to a dot at Hillsborough 15 around the exact same time that the Silver Cruise that she's in is hitting at the LPR at Hillsborough and 15th.
So where the sector makes a point on the right side, is this the tower location?
Correct.
And where the circle is that where the device is pinging back to the tower from timing advance?
Correct.
That was consistent with the license plate return for the silver Chevy Cruze?
Yes.
How about from the image that was retrieved from Miss Andrews' device of a screenshot of a map?
Yes, so this is the screenshot image that shows a map directions back towards the Teasers, and you can tell by that blue arrow with the white, the blue circle with the white arrow where the vehicle or the phone is at this time. That coincides at 2:58 with the cell site data as well.
How about another LPR reader at Hillsborough and 15th for the same silver Chevy Cruze?
Yes, so we can see on the left here, again, Hillsborough runs left to right. 15th is towards the center, to the right a little bit, up and down, north and south. And we can see that Alicia Andrews' device is in the approximate area of Hillsborough 14th at 3:41 at the same time that the vehicle she's traveling is hitting there on an LPR.
And was this LPR the same return that was 1 minute apart from the LPR for the black Impala?
Correct.
And is this minutes after the victim has posted to Instagram about his Truth 18 appearance or show?
This is 11 minutes after Mr. Jones broadcasts the address to Truth 18, yes.
From this particular image itself, were you able to get footage from the Truth 18 parking lot and again, timing advance from the cell phone?
Yes, so here we can see to the left the cell sector and the timing advance dot, putting it right on top of Truth 18 at approximately 4 a.m. Within that time period is when we see Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance come into video as well, with Isaiah Chance holding a device.
Now, specifically, a few minutes after this, we have that screenshot of the Photos app. Do you
Yes.
recall that one?
Yes.
Now, were you able to do the same thing with this image from the parking lot by confirming against the video footage or surveillance from the club?
Yes, and the cell site puts the phone exactly where this image is being taken, yes.
And how about for this same device at the time of the homicide? Were you able to do the same thing?
Correct.
And where does the timing advance place Ms. Andrews' device at 4:40 a.m.?
In the vicinity of the murder scene.
About 2 or 3 minutes before this, had the Chevy Cruze been pulling away from the homicide location?
Yes.
And is that captured on the home to suites footage?
Yes.
Do you run the same search for the return to the Airbnb when they're getting ready to leave the following day?
Yes.
Is that what's depicted here?
Yes, so we can see on the left again, cell site and timing advance of Alicia Andrews' device at 2:59 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd. And if you look over to the right, you'll see her on video at that exact time, 2:59, coming out of the Airbnb.
Do you run the same information for the return to Jacksonville for this device?
Yes.
Is that consistent with the license plate reader records that you have from the separate LPR?
Yeah, this
companies?
is actually one of the ways I was able to identify that Uber. I tracked the cell site data and when it passed this LPR. So this is Alicia Andrews' device hitting an LPR while she's in the Uber, the Infiniti SUV.
And are you able to track that Uber or device back to Sean Gathright's house?
Correct. Again, Alicia Andrews' device on the left hitting in the area of Victoria Lakes Drive off of Yellow Bluff Road there in Jacksonville. This is Sean Gathright's address at the same time that she's seen on camera in Sean Gathright's driveway.
You do the same cell phone mapping for the defendant Isaiah Chance, number
Correct.
ending in 4707.
Correct.
Is that what's depicted in this video?
Yes.
Why does the satellite imagery look a little bit different?
This is utilizing only the cell sector.
Do you run the search for the same time frame?
Yes.
Is that device present in the sector for the Airbnb
Yes.
and for Teasers?
It goes to Teasers approximately 10 p.m., goes back to the Airbnb, and then goes back to Teasers at 2 a.m. The McDonald's.
Mr. Chance had admitted to having been at the McDonald's, correct?
Correct.
And ultimately, you again confirm this device returned to Jacksonville?
Correct.
And again, if we freeze on individual timestamps or time portions on this particular video, are we able to capture the device location from Jacksonville down to Tampa, the spots in Tampa and back?
Yes.
And have you done that same thing, comparing it to items of physical evidence that we just saw with Ms. Andrews' device?
Yes.
Does the device ultimately travel back to Jacksonville consistent with Mrs. Andrews' device?
Correct.
What about the Uber driver's statement?
Yes.
And the video from Sean Gathrights' residence?
Correct.
Looking first at the departure from Mr. Gathrights' residence, were you able to confirm the sector in which the device was located against the video surveillance?
Yes, so this is from Saturday the 22nd when Isaiah Chance is first arriving at Sean Gaithright's house before they leave to Tampa. Approximately on video at 12:27 p.m. we can see him on video arriving. At that same time, his cell phone is hitting off of the sector tower that covers Sean Gaithright's house.
Is this the video surveillance or part of the surveillance that was captured from that video putting Mr. Chance at Mr. Gathrights' residence?
Correct.
How about the device location at 2:42 p.m. while the vehicle is loading up?
So again, on the right of the screen, you'll see at 2:42 p.m. on Saturday the 22nd, Isaiah Chance's device is in the cell sector of Victoria Lakes Drive, Sean Gaithright's address. At that same time, we can see him on camera on Sean Gaithright's Vivid home security footage.
When we see the device come down to the Tampa area, are you able to confirm it is pinging off of sector in where the Airbnb is located, excuse me?
Correct. So to the right is specifically the cell sector and the one timing advance circle hit, putting it over the Airbnb at approximately 7:52 p.m. Saturday 22nd, which is the approximate arrival time for Isaiah Chance, Sean Gathright, and Alicia Andrews. Although we never see Isaiah Chance on the video coming in, his device is there.
And the McDonald's?
Correct.
What are we seeing here on the left-hand side?
So this is cell.
So the sector and pinging directly to the device for McDonald's.
Correct.
And this image?
So to the right, we have the cell sector that encompasses Teasers Club at approximately 2:30 a.m., around the time that Isaiah Chance is seen on video in the Teasers parking lot.
Consistent with also Ms. Andrews' device?
Correct.
And now for Hillsborough and 15th.
Yeah, this is actually cell site and timing advance, putting Isaiah Chance's cellular phone in the vicinity of Hillsborough, east to west, and 15th, north to south, at the same time that the Silver Cruise that he's traveling in is hitting off of the license plate reader at Hillsborough and 15th.
What about when we get to Truth 18?
Yes, so here we have at 4:18, we have Isaiah Chance's phone cell sector covering Truth 18 at the same time that he's seen on camera there.
Do you obtain close to 441 a return from the murder scene?
Yes.
What type?
See, here we have cell sector and timing advance. At 4:41, the phone appears to be just south of the murder scene.
And was the homicide scene 3 or so minutes before this?
Yes, the homicide is approximately 4:38, 4:39, and then this hit is registering at 4:41 just south of the murder scene.
Is this consistent with what we've seen in the Home to Suites video of the silver Chevy Cruze pulling out towards the right of the exit of Home to Suites?
Correct. So when the Silver Cruise leaves at approximately 4:30 or 4:39, it makes a right-hand turn that would put it to go southbound on McKinley, consistent with this cell phone hit.
Now, before 441, was the Cruze on video at the Home to Suites itself?
Yes.
And did you mark or annotate where the device location was and some damage to the vehicle in this slide?
Yes.
Were you able to then look the next morning or the following day upon the Uber arriving at the Airbnb?
Yes. So this video to the right is from 3:05 p.m., right as he's getting ready to leave, and then the first hit that we see after 3:05 is his phone in the vicinity leaving the Airbnb.
And based on the Uber driver and the phone records, the Uber would have already left the Airbnb.
At 3:08, it just left the Airbnb, correct.
Did you have call detail records, so actual logs as well in the call details of each of those devices that we've talked about?
Yes, for Isaiah Chance's phone number, we got call detail records that encompass either call or text messages, attempts, and connections. And Isaiah Chance's phone was actually the only phone that communicated with all other 4 defendants' phones via call or text message at some point throughout the murder weekend.
And what's the relevance of the image on the top left, please?
That is call detail records showing lines of communication starting the Friday the 21st between Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews.
And how about the top right?
Top right is starting on the 20th, June 20th, is Isaiah Chance's phone communicating with Rashad Murphy's phone.
And these are by way of calls?
Yes.
How about the bottom left?
Isaiah Chance's phone communicating with Davion Murphy's phone on June 23rd.
And the bottom right?
Isaiah Chance's phone communicating with Sean Gathrights phone on June 23rd.
As we would see this in evidence or in the folder itself, is it an actual stack of papers with call logs? Back
Yes.
and forth, back and forth. That's what you would receive back.
Correct.
And that's what the paper form of the exhibit would be in evidence as well?
Yes.
Did you have mapping for Mr. Gathwright's device as well?
Yes, we did.
What type?
This one was primarily cell sector and some timing advance as well mixed in.
At least for the trip south to Tampa, does Mr. Gathwright's device follow the same path of travel as Isaiah Chance and Alicia Andrews?
Yes, it does.
Could you also confirm Sean Gathright as his residence when his device put him there?
Yes.
And if we follow each one of those locations down to the Airbnb itself, is the device arriving at the Airbnb at the same time frame that Ms. Andrews is depicted on the video?
Yes.
Does that device travel to the McDonald's?
It does not to the McDonald's. It goes to Teasers around 10 with Isaiah, but then it goes back to the Airbnb and does not go to the McDonald's.
Are you, throughout the course of your investigation, ever able to explain why Mr. Chance's device and Mr. Gathwright's device go to the Teasers around 10 p.m.?
It appears to be a pre-scouting mission.
Did the device of Mr. Gathright include a Teasers search at 10:03 p.m.?
Yes, from the screen recordings.
Is that device depicted at the Teasers Club at the time that the victims were there?
Yes.
Does that device return to the Truth 18 Club after the victim posted his location?
Yes.
Does that device appear at the murder scene?
Yes, it does.
And does that device return to the Airbnb thereafter?
Yes, it does.
Ultimately, did that device, after we see Mr. Gathright leave on the Ring camera, head towards Polk County?
Correct.
Showing you the image from the pre-incident footage from Mr. Gathwright's residence. Tell us what we're looking at here, please.
Yeah, so to the left, we see the cell sector that covers Victoria Lakes Drive.
Across the street at the Truth 18 Club number 2. The black Impala also depicted.
Yes, cell sector vicinity of Truth 18 at the same time the Sean Gathwright's black Impala is seen on camera in that same area.
And the secondary location drop from Alicia Andrews' device to Sean Gathwright's device,
Yes,
captured on the map that you provided to us.
yes.
How about the black Impala itself at the murder scene? Was it depicted on the Tesla footage?
Yes, so here on the left we have cell site and a couple timing advance circles, and as you can see it's going in the vicinity of the murder scene around 4:34 a.m., which is the same time that the Impala is arriving at the murder scene on camera.
Does it remain at that scene consistent with the timing advance or the sectors?
Yes,
And then after the homicide is committed, you see the following day prior to leaving the Airbnb, Mr. Gathright, on that camera.
Yes, so here we have cell sector on the left at 3:13 p.m. after the murder on the 23rd. At the same time that Sean Gathright is visible on camera at the Airbnb holding a device in his hand.
From this location, you indicated the device had moved to Polk County, is that correct?
After this, it leaves and goes to Polk County, correct?
And were you able to confirm the address or location of that Polk County visit?
Yes, 4 something Opal Avenue.
Is that what we are seeing here in this image? Is the device consistent with the footage of Mr. Gathright at that address?
Yeah, so on the left, you'll see Sean Gaithright's device is being placed by the cell sector right over Opal Avenue, and Opal Avenue is where his grandma's house is at. This is happening at the same time, or around the same time that we see Sean Gathright arriving at his grandma's house on video.
Did the call detail records, the actual calls back and forth between those devices, confirm what we saw on video?
Yes.
And did the cell information also confirm, Sean Gathright's location at the Parlay nightclub posting the videos of the Don Julio bottles?
Correct. The cell phone data placed his device in the area of Parlay in Orlando at the same time that those images are captured.
Lastly, Davian Murphy, did you have device information for Mr. Murphy?
Yes, I did.
And did you have the same depiction of the device movement?
Correct.
Did you have as many hits for the device of Davian Murphy?
No, there was a significant amount of timing data missing.
Is what's depicted here Mr. Murphy's device headed to Tampa on June 22nd of 2024?
Correct.
And does it capture the same time frame as what was depicted in the prior defendant's screen grabs for their mapping?
Yes.
Were you able to obtain some cell phone mapping information for the number ending in 3137 associated to Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
And were you able to make a comparison of that data to the other physical evidence you had in the case?
Yes.
Who was believed to have been in the silver Chevy Cruze on the way down to Tampa?
Davion Murphy and Rashad Murphy.
Was the device present at the Airbnb prior to the homicide?
Yes.
Did you have cell site information for timing advance and call detail on some of Mr. Davian Murphy's locations?
Some of it, yes.
Does timing advance also put him at the McDonald's?
Yes.
All of these blanks where we don't see a sector or a ping, there's no data or information about the location of the device?
Correct.
Does the device return to the Airbnb after the homicide?
Correct.
Are you able to confirm his location based on various other pieces of evidence?
Yes.
Does that device leave the Airbnb consistent with everyone else?
Correct.
And does that device return to Jacksonville as well?
It does.
Consistent with the silver Chevy Cruze?
Correct.
Showing you the LPR readers from prior to the homicide on 622 traveling south. Is this consistent with the cell phone information you have or location information you have for Davian Murphy's device?
Yeah, so on the right there we can see an LPR hit. This is Saturday, June 22nd at 7:39 p.m. So about 15 minutes before they arrive to the Airbnb, southbound just north of Tampa, the Silver Cruze is hitting an LPR at the same time that Davion Murphy's cell phone is hitting in that vicinity.
Is this just before the check-in at the Airbnb?
Yes.
Okay. And that's I-75 and 275 southbound?
Correct.
Were you able to confirm with a ping that the device did in fact go to the McDonald's?
Yes, cell sector places Davion Murphy's device in the vicinity of the McDonald's at the same time that we can see him on camera at the McDonald's.
Were you familiar with Mr. Murphy's statement?
Yes.
And did Mr. Murphy deny having been in Tampa on the 22nd or the early morning hours of the 23rd?
Correct. He said he was not in Tampa on the 22nd and didn't arrive till the afternoon of the 23rd.
How about confirmation for the location information on the Airbnb camera right before departure around 3 o'clock on the 23rd?
Correct. So this is on the left we see Davion Murphy's cell site information placing his device in the vicinity of the Airbnb at the same time that we see Davion Murphy on camera at the Airbnb.
And did you have an opportunity to confirm the trip back as well with LPR information?
Yes, this is how we figured out that Davion drove the Silver Cruise back to Jacksonville post-murder. We can see on the right an LPR at 6:02 p.m. on Sunday the 23rd en route back to Jacksonville, hitting in an area where his cell phone was also hitting.
And then again, did you use the call logs from this case to determine whether he had been in communication with Rashad Murphy?
Yes, Rashad Murphy and Isaiah Chance during that weekend.
Murphy's phone had been in contact with Isaiah Chance's phone as well.
Correct.
And did you use the information that we've described here today from social media, from the cell phones, to determine who occupied what vehicles at the time of this homicide?
Correct.
Your Honor, may I have one moment?
Yes.
We spoke briefly about Mr. Murphy's location information while in Tampa from the
Which
time that
Murphy?
Davion Murphy's phone in Tampa, from the time that it's pinging at the Airbnb to the McDonald's and back. Are there any pings after having returned to the Airbnb, to the murder scene, like the other defendants that we mentioned?
No, so there's no activity from after the McDonald's till after they arrive back at the Airbnb post-murder. There is a significant block of data missing from roughly 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. from Davion's.
Were you able to determine why the data was missing, or any information about the lack of data itself?
I spoke to his provider, and it indicated to me that it was either...
Sustain as to hearsay.
If a device is powered down, are you able to obtain any location data or information from the device?
No, it is believed the device was powered down.
Do you have any information whatsoever about any activity from that device during the time frame mentioned that it's lacking location information?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Do you have any information that the device was used during that time frame at all?
No.
Do you have any indicator that there were calls or messages in that time frame, or that anything occurred on Davion Murphy's device with the time frame that's missing from the gap?
Not parts of it. It's there wasn't significant activity in the data.
Any activity that was absent in that time frame for location information that you can tell us about that would put him anywhere other than Airbnb, McDonald's, homicide scene, home to suites, anything like that?
No, there's no data that places his device anywhere outside of our area.
And was the extraction of the data that was returned complete for Davion Murphy's phone?
No.
What, if any, were there items that were missing from the extraction itself?
Yes.
For example, were there a substantive amount of messages on the device?
No, there weren't.
Were there a substantive amount of location data points on the device?
No.
Was there any information indicative of where the device was or where Mr. Murphy was on that evening from the device itself,
No.
other than what we've already discussed as far as the pings?
Correct.
Is it, based on your investigation itself, your understanding that that device was powered down at the time of the murder?
Sustain.
You do not have any information at the time of the murder from Davion Murphy's phone?
No.
Do you have video footage from the scene itself, as well as the surrounding video footage of the circumstances of this murder of Charles Jones, to form an opinion based on that evidence of where Mr. Murphy was, without telling me what that is?
Yes.
I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay.